Hey everyone, and welcome back to the DC Films Podcast. This is episode 32. This episode, well, first off, I want to apologize for there not being an episode in like a month. We've all been busy with our lives, so it's hard to manage to like find the time to like all get together and talk. So we're finally here, but this episode is definitely going to be an interesting one. It's going to be our live reading of Joss Whedon's Wonder Woman script from about 12 years ago. So it's definitely going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. But before we get started, you know, because Danielle's here, and unfortunately she wasn't able to join us for our last episode where we talked about Aquaman and Shazam from Comic-Con. So we could probably preface the live reading of the script for that brief discussion, and then we'll go and jump right in. So obviously Danielle's here, but for everyone else, we're going to each go around and introduce yourselves to the listeners.
Hello, I am Al Speed, and I am Speed of the Oppressed on Tumblr.
Hi, I'm Jean. I'm Batch Activity on Tumblr.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm Endeavor Network on Tumblr.
I'm Danielle, and I'm a Social Justice League on Tumblr.
It's okay, I can edit all that weird, awkward silence out of
Oh, and then spectating, we've got Amber, who will chip in on the chat.
Yeah, so Amber will be here also, like, and unfortunately she can't be here through, you know, her voice. So we're gonna be her voice.
She's by Witch of the West, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously the big portion of the podcast is gonna be the Wonder Woman reading, but again, since Danielle, you weren't here when we were talking about the Aquaman and Shazam stuff, if you kind of want to just like sum up like your overall thoughts on like the trailers and everything that came out of Comic-Con and what you thought of everything.
Yeah, I actually haven't talked about it much at all, in general, but basically, I continue to be the most pumped for Aquaman. Aquaman's gonna be amazing. James Wan is, I mean, like, I'm ready to go out and watch this film and then immediately go buy his Funko Pop. Like, that's how I'm feeling right now. I don't know, everything looks great. I think that the thing that I've been most worried about is the impact that it's going to have in terms of, like, people are going to probably struggle with the fact that he is adapting Aquaman comics. And Aquaman comics are super cornball. Like, they are, you know, not like cornball as much as, like, they take themselves very seriously. There's going to be people riding on seahorses, and it's not going to be that, like, you know, on-the-ground realism that a lot of DCEU fans kind of think defines the DCEU. And I think that's going to be a challenge for the fandom. I think it's going to be a challenge for a lot of the regular viewers. They're going to be looking at it and being like, well, this is just dumb. And it's like, well, it's Aquaman. I don't know what to tell you. It's under the sea. Like, there's going to be a lot of, like, fantastical stuff. And I think that Juan is the kind of filmmaker who's not going to apologize for it on screen. He's just going to do this stuff, and we're going to have to, like, suspend our disbelief or not. And I love that approach about a film. I just worry about the impact it's going to have, because I think people are going to be like, whoa, why couldn't you have taken Aquaman seriously? I'm like, that's as serious as you can take Aquaman, by, like, actually depicting his actual life, which is under the freaking sea, riding seahorses, going to sea battle. Like, it's going to be a little silly right off the bat, and then you're going to have to adjust, or, you know, like most people probably will, which is like reject the whole thing wholesale and be like, well, it's just too silly.
Mm-hmm. Just FYI, Danielle, like, I don't know if it's like your internet connection or something, but like it got a little wonky there towards the end.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to run the script on my iPad, but I usually use my iPad to record, and I think I need to switch.
Oh, okay,
The
gotcha.
phone's a piece of crap. All right.
What kind of phone do you have?
It's, I don't know. It's the stupid Edge. I hate my phone a lot. It's like a sticking point with me. But it's like, it's the S8 Edge.
Okay, gotcha.
I think it's the one you can't touch without it freaking out. I hate it.
I wouldn't know. I've literally always had an iPhone, so I never had those issues.
I'm sure.
I went so stop giving my money to Apple, which is a horrible corporation. Oops, but also like, man, I'm a slave to it already,
Same.
and I'm too lazy to switch. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So well, again, I'll edit all this out. All this random Apple stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please do.
But for me, so like, just kind of like reiterate some of my thoughts on Aquaman. Because now that I've watched the trailer, like, I've already lost count of how many times I've watched it. What James Wan has been able to do, just like visuals alone, I think is some of the most ambitious stuff we've seen so far in the DCEU. Like, the fact that he's even tackling like James Wan, whose big thing is horror, is tackling the character of Aquaman. Like at first, like as soon as I found out, I was so like not confused, but I was like really intrigued because like he wouldn't have been my first choice, but like I'm like he's always made every single one of his movies that I've seen, I've either really liked or loved, and I'm like, you know what, like I'm gonna give this guy a shot. Like he's a great director, I can't wait. And just the visuals alone in that trailer, and I'm glad he took his time to give us the trailer, and him and Warner Brothers, because people already complain about the CGI in it. But like, can you imagine if this was if they had released a trailer like 6 months ago and shown all of Atlantis, like if it was still like in pre-vis like production, like so many people, it would have been so much worse. But seriously, the way he was able to like. And I can't remember who he spoke to about this. But basically, he said he's making like an underwater sci-fi film. And for me, again, it's so interesting to have that once again, because like obviously, like in Man of Steel, like that was like a sci-fi first contact story. And for me, that's one of the reasons why I like it so much, because that's what made it different compared to other previous adaptations of Superman's origin. Like with Aquaman, to have it basically be like almost like a Star Wars movie underwater. Like, in terms of, like, some of the visuals and the overall look of Atlantis, I think that's pretty incredible. And I gotta say, like, I don't want to spend too much time talking about Aquaman, because obviously we have a whole podcast dedicated to it. But just seriously, like, between, like, Patrick Wilson looks fucking great, Mira and Amber Heard looks fucking great. Like, there's not a single person in this movie who I'm just like, I don't know. Like, everyone looks fantastic. Especially Nicole Kidman. Like, her, like, as soon as we see her in the trailer, I'm like, I'm so fucking sold.
Yep.
I think that's a really cool perspective, because I think that once I think about it for a minute, it's sort of like, of course you should treat Under the Sea like a space story, because like it's that foreign to us. It's actually literally that alien to us. And we always deal better with like under the sea narratives if we're actually like treating it like space travel. It should be like a space travel type of narrative. So I think like that's a really cool perspective. I haven't read anything that he's said, because I'm trying to keep myself kind of like pure for the experience. So I'm really behind on all of the news and everything. I watched the trailer like twice, and then I was like, good enough. We're just gonna let it go. We're gonna go into this, the way it's meant to be, especially since he's been holding everything back. I feel like his intention is not necessarily on the promotional end. I feel like he's sort of like, well, I don't really want to promote it. I just want to like release a really good movie and then let you guys, make up your mind. Mm-hmm. And I like that instinct. I'm just trying to like find a way to respect it without like also falling off the face of the earth with the fandom, because I love the conversation every single time on the way up to these films, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And he's making it so and a lot of he actually had like a decent amount of conversation like with the fans themselves too, which makes the experience that much more like fun and like worth it. Like to have like the artist who's creating this art like for us to be so involved with us and just to be interacting with everyone as much as he has been. Like, it just makes it so much more, like, and the same thing with, like, David Sandberg, too, just having these guys, like, be, like, openly discussing their films with the fans. Obviously, they're not gonna, like, give away spoilers or anything, but, like, still, like, it's, like, almost like that playful banter between, like, the directors and the fans that just makes it, like, I don't know, it's just really, like, comforting as a fan that, like, that they do that. It makes, like, the build-up even more exciting. At least for me. So yeah, so I know. So this part,
Amber says, "Let's hope it doesn't bite them in the ass."
Oh, yeah,
oh, don't read that. But like, I agree with that. Like, that's the thing, is it's a really double-edged sword, and it's really, really risky to do stuff like that, because I think that for both of them, it's kind of like the worst has already happened. What more terrible could it get than the way that the press has treated Zack Snyder? Like, there's just, it's kind of like a no fear situation. Like, what could you do? What could you possibly do? And it's like, well, I don't really necessarily want to find out. I don't know that they want to find out. And that's the only thing, is that, like, I'm kind of, with the directors, I'm kind of like, maybe if you just, like, cloistered yourself for a while, I want to make sure that you guys get out of this unscathed. And apparently making a DC film is a worse sin than literally anything that's been happening in Hollywood over the past, like, 10 years. So it's really, it makes me nervous. Mm-hmm. That's all. It just makes me nervous, and it's only because, like, I want them to thrive. I think that what they're doing is awesome. I mean, like, I have had mixed feelings about the Shazam stuff for a long time. Like, I went up and down and up and down and up and down, but, like, that trailer looks like a supremely good freaking time. Oh my gosh, that looks so fun. And, like, just fun in, like, a wholesome and earnest way. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no, like, forced fun happening. And I really dig that about the Shazam trailer. It's just sort of like, yeah, this is actually what would happen, and it's kind of a riot.
And I think it's so funny because, like, when we first started talking about Shazam, you were like so far like you just didn't care. Literally, every time it would come up, I'd just be like. Like, I don't give, and I'm still, like, I still have a really contentious relationship with Billy Batson. I went off on it because I'm really kind of trying to, like, analyze what's happening there. I went off on it on Twitter a couple days ago, where I was just sort of like, okay, well, I feel like maybe the reason that I don't like Billy Batson so much is because Billy Batson fans are, like, 80% garbage. Mm-hmm. And, like, I mean that. Everyone who's listening, if you're a Billy Batson fan, do you hate Superman? Like, I really want to know, because I don't get it.
I don't hate Superman.
That's the thing, is that, like, there's people like you who go to the comics and actually, like, read the comics and enjoy Billy Batson for what Billy Batson is. And then there are hardcore Shazam fans. There's one particular on Twitter who drives me absolutely up a wall. I think he drives everyone up a wall, though. I don't even remember his name because I think I blocked him a million years ago, but he's terrible. But, like, it's just, at a certain level, there's, like, the Shazam fan who is absolutely showing up for Superman Schadenfreude. They are absolutely showing up to be like, oh, well, this is, like, what Superman should have been. Or, like,
yeah.
Wow, I can't wait till Billy kicks Superman's ass. Or, like, why doesn't Billy just replace Superman on the Justice League? And it's like, those folks are my main hurdle between me and really enjoying Shazam and really getting from writers what I think Shazam could possibly be in terms of, like, a really cool story about what happens when you give a little kid powers like this and you know, like, all the attendant interesting issues. We can never get to that because the first thing he's got to do is, like, walk over and take a fart on Superman because he and that's kind of where I've been as far as Billy Batson goes for a really long time, and I'm starting to realize that it's just a bunch of the fans being super toxic.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this isn't even, like, since I've been a fan of Shazam, like, me and my mom, we both know, well, more me than anything, but yeah, I know the Shazam fandom because I've seen them, like, not seen them personally, but I've seen them in the past where it's always this sort of contest where, oh, Shazam is better than Superman, Superman's better than Shazam. And this all basically comes from the fact that Shazam used to belong to another comic book company that did better than Superman, then DC got jealous, and then they bought the rights to Shazam, and then they really didn't do anything with Shazam for a very long time. So I guess because of that, Shazam fans feel like, oh, we've been, like, shitted on because DC's not doing anything with Shazam, And to be honest, they haven't really been doing much with Shazam. Like, after, when Rebirth came around, Shazam was literally nowhere to be seen until, like, just recently. And even in those, like, DC animated films with the New 52 elements, Shazam ended up going missing after the Aquaman movie, and then we never see him again. So, in some way, I get where some Shazam fans are coming from. But like you said, yeah, some Shazam fans are very entitled, and they always make it a contest whenever it comes to Superman because they feel Superman is pretty much like the better version of Shazam. And people don't seem to understand that Shazam probably won't beat Superman because he's a kid. But
yeah, it's like two completely different narratives. And the thing is that, in my opinion, both of those narratives could be equally interesting. Both of those narratives have completely different spheres in which to tell stories, and both of those narratives are super important. Like, I love the idea of, like, really actually dealing with, like, an actual, like, child character in comics and fully developing him, because I think that's something that comic writers often fail at. Like they end up going to the wall with, like, stereotypes. That Damian has become a walking stereotype. He's just like mini angry Batman, and John has been getting really variable writing. If someone's whole entire job was just to write Billy Batson, it could be fascinating. I love child characters when they work, when someone puts in the effort. But that's the thing, is that, like, a lot of times it seems like the effort fails. A lot of times it seems like especially in the DCEU, that they just bring in Shazam in order to, like, razz, in order to just be, like, funny. And it's like the specter for me of a little kid joining the Justice League in an actual actually joining the Justice League is, like, horrifying and intense, and, like, a huge cool moral question that we could actually have a conversation about. And I think that it's nonsense to throw that aside to just be like, LOL, let's make jokes about Batman and wards and shit. And it's like, but, like, we can grapple with what Billy is and how that complicates everything. And make it a really interesting conversation, but instead we have all these folks that are just dragging us down into the dirt. And I guess that's the same with every single DC character out there. Like, this is the tension of every single DC character out there. It's always seemed to me like those people always win. Those people get their way more often than a lot of other characters, and that's a shame. That's a shame for Billy.
I just think it's funny because, like, looking at how the conversation really has been overall between, like, the Superman and Shazam, Captain Marvel discussion for years now, it's always been, like, a one big dick measuring contest. And I think that's for me, like, why, like people who have been saying, like, oh, Superman can beat Shazam can beat Superman, like, I never cared about that ever. Like, I honestly can say the first time I ever truly cared about Billy Batson as a character was that animated film, like Superman, Shazam, The Return of Black Adam. It wasn't very long, but that, to me, I'm like, this is what I think their relationship should be. Almost like a mentor-mentee kind of thing, like having, like, Superman who's, like, not always going to be there to protect Billy, but someone who's like Clark Kent is the one looking after Billy and his well-being. Not necessarily just Superman. And I think that makes their relationship in that animated short so interesting. And I think there's a lot of potential with their relationship there. I just feel like a lot of, like, writers haven't really explored that aspect of Superman and Billy's relationship.
And people forget that Billy is a kid.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it, too. People just see, like, oh, one big white guy with superpowers versus this other big white guy with superpowers. So, fight. Like, no, there's so much more to that. And yeah, so for me, like watching the Shazam trailer for the first time, and I'll again, like, wrap, like, trying to, like, some of my thoughts without going into too much. One thing I loved about the trailer, or with the overall film itself, is that, like, David Sandberg is honoring what Zack did. Like, with all the Easter eggs from Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, and it just, like, it feels like he's one of the few people who actually is trying to not just dust off what happened in Man of Steel and like in previous DCEU films. Granted, Shazam is I think is going to be the most unique DCEU film just in terms of like its tone and its characters and its characters overall. But to have those little Easter eggs, like to me, show that like that the filmmaking involved in this, it's not slamming one director over the other, and it's not like brushing Zack under the rug completely. It's being like, hey, like this is the universe we're building off of, and here's another person in this universe that we're focusing on.
Well, it's showing that like the DCU isn't necessarily a tone, and I think that a lot of people are getting confused about that because the tone's been under attack. But when you're talking about tone, like you can build inside of that universe and still have something be really funny and still have it be part of that greater universe. You can still put comedy into this universe and make it work, as long as, you know, you respect the stuff that came before. And that's what I really appreciate about this collaboration, is that it does respect that yes and. It says, oh yeah, absolutely. Superman did, you know, smash up Metropolis. Superman did die for our sins. Superman did do all of this stuff. All of this stuff definitely happened. Batman is real. The whole 9 yards. But then, you know, also bring their own flavor to it, which is like, there's a superhero who's like a little kid doing the freaking floss dance in the middle of a trailer, and we're gonna take it to that place. Like, that can also exist in this universe, because that's what I want a DC, that's what I want a cinematic universe to look like, where it's like you can put anything into this universe because everything exists in the real world. Exactly. It doesn't all have to feel the same or look the same or sound the same.
Exactly, and that's been like my whole thing, is that like these are, people want to say like, oh, it has to be one thing or the other. Like it either has to be, people be like, oh, DC, just stick to your dark, gritty, grim, dark universe, or DC, you need to be like Marvel and be funny. Like, look at the real world. Like here's like a real life example. There's like a hardened New York City detective working on late night cases about murders all the time. There's also a 5-year-old in fucking kindergarten having the time of his life, and those are both going on at the same time. 2 different lives, different people, same reality. So why can't we have that in film?
Yeah.
Go.
Sorry. Amber says, I like the diversity of tone, to be honest. It's one of the main gripes I have with the MCU. Excluding movies like Black Panther and Winter Soldier, every Marvel movie feels the same to me, which is why Shazam and Aquaman are so exciting to me.
Well, that's because the Marvel films are all under one producer's mind, which is Kevin Feige. You know, because Kevin Feige is the one who's pretty much controlling all of the tone, the humor, and everything that goes into each Marvel film. The only difference was Black Panther and Winter Soldier, because the Russo brothers and the director for Black Panther wanted to kind of have their own creative freedom, and Feige gave them that, which is why those 2 movies, probably a few others within the MCU, are genuinely different.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's the crux of this stuff, and I think that Snyder has been saying since the beginning, like, it's about creative control. It's about letting directors have their sphere. It's about letting them create their own little worlds within a bigger world, and that is like the most organic way to get it at a cinematic universe. It's also the best way to create high quality films consistently, and that's the thing that's my sticking point with the MCU, is that, like, you just can't meddle with someone's artistic process that much without negatively affecting the product. Like, it's just, whatever comes out is going to be less awesome than it could be, unless you freaking leave James Wan alone and let him decide whether or not people from Atlantis are going to ride freaking seahorses. Like, that's going to be his creative decision, and not some executive sitting off to his shoulder and being like, well, remember that we have to have a joke every 16 seconds, and remember that this is your musical theme already, and everything's coming directly out of a can, and you're just going to stir. That's your job. You're, as a director, we've got all the ingredients, we've put it in a bowl, and you're the one who's just doing the stirring, and then we'll put your name on the product. Like, that's the worst way I can think of to make films. And I'm afraid that a lot of MCU films have been made that way, and I'm super nervous about the idea of DC adopting that approach, because that's not what I want at all. I want cool, weird, innovative movies to come out of this franchise. At the most, like, even if they're bad movies, I still want them to be cool, weird, and innovative.
Yep.
Well, we can kind of like segue the conversation into some other bit of news that came out since our last podcast. So it's been reported by a few different sources that Warner Brothers are in active development on a standalone Supergirl and Batgirl movie. I mean, the Batgirl movie we knew about because Joss was involved, and now he's not. So now it looks like Warner Brothers is actively involved, or they want to make those movies. So it kind of just get everyone's opinion on the possibility of Supergirl and Batgirl, and like, do you guys think these movies are actually going to happen, and what would you guys like to see in?
I want, honestly, for Supergirl, I want like a lot of like angst and comfort, because like her and Clark, because they need each other emotionally, and I want like all the angst and everything, and people are gonna hate and be like, oh my god, why was there so much crying? And I'm like, there should be crying, because honestly, like, whoever makes this movie, I just hope they understand how important it is for there to be a lot of weeping and stuff.
I mean, it's not just about that. It's about like the fact that Kara has a very, very different experience of losing Krypton than Clark does. Clark has that.
It's so amazing.
It's a very different immigrant experience, because Clark's immigrant experience is it's a second generation experience, right? But whereas for Kara, it's like she lived her childhood on Krypton, and in some versions she lived until like almost adulthood in Krypton, and she's been grounded in that culture, and then now she's not only thrust into this new culture, she's just to do it completely alone, and also faced with the reality that it doesn't exist anymore. It's been destroyed. There's no going back, and that's like so much potential for like really a huge amount of commentary, a huge amount of analysis. I'd love for someone to like seriously Man of Steel it. Because, Man of Steel's exploration of Clark's psyche was fantastic.
Yeah.
And, like, I'd love for someone to go into that kind of care and depth and do it. But you know what? Nobody's gonna do that except for our God and King, the Lord and our Savior, Zack Snyder.
Honestly, like, I just want him to do, like, all the Super Fan movies, like,
I want him to make all movies for the rest of time, okay?
Even the romantic comedies. Honestly, especially those, to be honest.
Every single movie for the rest of time.
I can't wait for the Zack Snyder romantic comedy. Honestly, I don't know if there'll be explosions or not. Probably, but
I hope so.
He can still fit himself into the genre. It'll be fine. This is gonna be a little more violent than your typical romantic comedy, but maybe just in the background. Maybe they're just constantly walking away from explosions. That's all.
Maybe they'll just be fireworks the whole movie. Like,
there you go.
Fireworks.
As long as there's big noises. Yeah, that fits into his brand.
Oh my gosh, it'll be a meet cute, but with like explosions, like with Barry and Iris, like that. I feel like there'll just be an explosion. They'll be like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? There was an explosion over there." Yeah,
that just sounds like the next good Superman film. Like, honestly, like, that's the thing. Is the Man of Steel 2? We could have just been like, "Hey Zach, this one's a romantic comedy. Do what you will." I never get what I want, but I agree. I agree completely about Supergirl as far as the immigrant narrative, and I think that's the most important thing that they need to remember, especially with an emphasis on she is so different from Clark, and unless she's different from Clark, honestly, and this is a really unpopular opinion, she's a waste of space. Like, if you're committing to this, and cast a Latina woman as Kara would be like the most direct access to that kind of content for sure, which is what Amber just said. I just think that if you create a female version, like, to be really straight up here, like, Supergirl emerges as a female version, as the female answer to Superman. There's no getting around that. That's the genesis of her origin. Nobody was like, oh hey, I've got this really interesting character. They were like, oh hey, how can we expand the Superman books? So being her origin, it kind of needs mending, because we have to commit to a female character entirely, and that means giving her her own stuff. Don't make her a fucking reporter. Sorry, just don't. Don't make Jimmy into Lois. Don't turn her entire life into an echo.
Yeah, like, don't dress her up in the plaids and the glasses and the everything, and just make her a complete Clark Kent blonde bombshell version.
For real.
Also, please don't let her adapt the fashion sense of Clark.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that she's a teenage girl. She should have, like, this is what I've always argued. Supergirl's costume should be the cutting-edge teen fashion of the moment. Supergirl's regular clothes should be the cutting-edge teen fashion of the moment.
I don't like teen fashion right now, though.
That's the thing, though. We should lean into that shit. Like, I don't care how ugly it is. I don't care if that means that she's wearing, like, a baggy sweater and blue leggings. I don't care. If that's what it is, commit to it. Because even in its disastrousness, even if you've got to have her with, like, a freaking pumpkin spice cooler in her hand 24/7, she's at least actually authentically a teenage girl. And that is such an important window in to comics for so many people in that age group.
Can I ask?
Actually give them something.
Can I ask though, Danielle? Like, how was she? Like, how exactly? Because I don't even know how this is accomplished normally. But like, how is she usually presented as younger than Clark? Even though, because I know Al was talking about her being in the Phantom Zone, but like when she's not in the Phantom Zone, how does that?
Well, I mean, no, that was for, like, my idea for her.
Okay, but, like, normally, how, like, if she didn't end up in the Phantom Zone, how could she be younger than him? Like, I don't
believe
know.
Usually it's a space travel thing. It's just, like, like sort of
suspended
like
animation.
Kara falls into a wormhole and emerges at the wrong time and place, because she's sent as sort of, like... and I think this is the dominant narrative now, is that Supergirl is sort of sent as, like... the adult in the situation. Like, his parents weren't like his entire family was sort of like, oh my god, you just shot a baby into space. Who are we going to send to take care of this baby? Because it's crazy to just send a baby to a planet and be like, well, maybe he'll survive. It's kind of a crazy thought. So, like, I think that a lot of people, like, were like, okay, we'll pick up the pieces afterward. What if Kara was sent to be the grown-up in the situation? And the idea is that she would take care of Clark. She shows up on Smallville actually just looking for a baby. She spends her whole first arc just being like, I'm looking for a tiny little Kryptonian baby. I held him in my hands 2 weeks ago. And, then her whole life is upset because basically her plans are ruined as well as, her entire life because her culture is gone. But yeah. Oh. Read Supergirl being super, it leans heavily into Kara being a normal teenager. I've been looking for that content forever. Amber, you're like my freaking hero. Every single time I'm like, hey, why doesn't this exist in comics? Amber's like, it does. Read a book.
Yeah, I'm so scared whenever people say normal teenager, because, like, 9 out of 10 times it's, like, condescending.
But, like, yeah, sometimes people say that and, like, they don't really, like they mean it in a certain way that's, like, I don't know, it just varies, you know?
I think the essence of being a teenage girl is kind of being a mess. And I think that that's what I want from Kara. I want her to be kind of a mess. I want her to be like emotionally everywhere. I want her to be inconsistent. I want her to be flawed. I think it's really fascinating because we don't trust teenage girls. That's a thing. That's the general theme. We don't trust teenage girls. And I think it's fascinating to say, all right, well, here's the teenage girl. We're giving her all the power in the freaking world. Are you scared yet? And like actually having her just sort of like, you know, juggle that. Amber says, no, not condescending at all. She's on the track team, goes to high school, shit goes down. It's great. Is that the one with the art where she has the headband? Because I've been trying to track that one down. There's one where she has like a sweatband on, like continuously. And it's my favorite art ever. It's probably Jimenez because everything that I love is Jimenez.
One thing I'm really curious about is, I mean, at this point in how I look at Warner Brothers, I doubt they're going to adapt this. But, you know, before Man of Steel came out, there was a prequel comic that centered around Kara. But this version of Kara is like a distant cousin. Like, not like direct, like, oh, they share the same, like, grandparents or anything like that. Like, that comic that came out that was written by David Goyer, like, for me, like, I mean, I'd be totally down for what you guys have been talking about, but for me, like, I think that makes it a little more interesting to have a Kara who's been on Earth for 20,000 years. And
I feel like that makes her, like, almost, like, unrelatable, though.
No offense. Because she would be part of a different culture of Krypton. She wouldn't be the culture that his parents came from, the culture that he's familiar with.
Yeah, it's too distant.
How do we also differentiate her from Wonder Woman in the way that she would have had to be kind of isolated? She would have had to sort of be, I don't know. I don't even know how. That's the thing, is when I try to fill in the time in between for that comic, I'm kind of like, what was she doing all this time then? And it kind of makes like a weird thing where it's like, well, what was Superman doing for 33 years? I mean, consistently saving people. And then I don't know. I feel like we'd have to fill in all that time, and I think that would be a challenge.
Yeah, I think it's
unless you just want to straight up freeze her.
That's what I was thinking.
Captain America her.
Then everyone will be like, Captain America rip off, stealing from the MCU.
Oh, they can kiss like my butt.
Honestly though, my hope for the Supergirl movie is that it's like Jean was saying about like Man of Steel, like with the, like, I want it to be her experiences, you know, and then I don't know, they can end the movie with her coming to Earth and meeting Clark, but like I want it to be like her journey and like her struggle dealing with the loss of her planet and her family and everything, you know. And Amber says, I would start a Supergirl movie with Kara's parents going to Lara on Krypton, asking her how she sent Clark to Earth. They do the process. Kara gets stuck and lands on Earth in present day, and she's like 16, played by, I don't know, Becky G.
Yes!
Amber
I bought my ticket already. I'm done. I'm in.
I agree with Amber about like, isn't Becky G from Power Rangers?
Yeah, she
right?
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Isn't she like the Yellow Ranger?
Yeah. Okay. Can I just say real quick, since we're on the topic, I finally saw, and I kind of mentioned this in our group chat. I finally saw the new Power Rangers for the first time last week.
It's great, right?
I loved it.
It's fantastic.
I think it's one of my favorite movies of the last few years.
Oh, you guys heard that that they're working towards a sequel.
Yeah.
Yay! Finally, good job.
I'm just surprised because like I feel like I wouldn't have trusted Hasbro to be the ones like, yes, we're making a sequel to this 2017 one. I would have thought they were either going to reboot or just like do like an animated. I don't know. But hey, like I'm all for it because I thought that movie was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was great. Give me more. Give me a 6. Give me 7. Give me all.
Yeah, exactly. Give me the 7 movies that they were talking about. Like, but yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there because I'm still really excited about Power Rangers.
On what Amber was saying about the Supergirl thing, I agree. Like that's the way I envision it. Is the what you guys are saying about like the wormhole thing? Like I can kind of get behind that. So let me just include that real quick. Okay, so what Amber is saying about like Kara's parents going to Lara, asking her how she sent Clark. I totally, like, I'm, like, with that 100%. I think it should be, like, them being like, oh my god, you sent your baby into space, and her being like, yeah, and like, well, we gotta send our kid too, so that she doesn't die, and then she can protect Clark. And then, I don't know, apparently this is a thing that can happen, because everybody's saying it can happen, so Kara gets sucked into a wormhole, but then I want her to get out of the wormhole, and then grow up on some other planet, because, like, I don't know, I don't really like the idea of her just, like, being in a wormhole the entire time. So she ends up on some other planet, and I know some people are gonna be like, if that happens, like, some people might be like, oh, it's too much like Man of Steel, like, it's too much of the whole, like, growing up on an alien planet, feeling alone thing. But, like, I think, depending on how you do it, I think that it can be different. Like, you just have to get the right people to, like, have the kind of ideas to make it different, you know? And, like, honestly, like, she doesn't have to be, like, honestly, like, I was saying, I don't think she has to have powers, like, right away either, like, or she could have powers, because she could end up on a planet with a yellow sun, or she could end up on a planet with a red sun. Honestly, it depends, like, whatever ideas the writers have or whatever. But, like, I think you could make it different, even though, like, it might be similar to Man of Steel with the whole landing on this planet thing. But she would be older, so, like, she would remember Krypton, and so it's not the same as Clark, where he's, like, always kind of identified as human and everything. So, like, and then, like, later, like, my idea is that she hears from, like, I don't know, Green Lanterns or something, that there's, like, a Kryptonian on Earth, and so she goes to Earth, and she meets Clark, and then proceed Man of Steel 2, or whatever they want to do with that.
I don't know, I just feel like, where would they send... I just think Supergirl on Earth, I mean, like, cause that's just where she's always been, just on Earth, so it's hard for me to just imagine a story where she's just not on Earth, and just have her be so far removed.
Because the way I think of it is that, like, I mean, Earth is not the only planet in the universe that has intelligent life. So, I mean, she could have ended up... The way I see it is she ends up on a different planet that has intelligent life, and then she travels to Earth from that planet to find Clark. That's how I see it.
Well, because I mean, like, I'm just saying, I'm just thinking of how, like, if, like, let's say, like, her parents would, in this hypothetical, like, if her parents went to Lara, like, why would they send her to a different planet other than Clark?
No, because we were saying, like, she could end. They meant. Honestly, I don't know if Lara would have told them which planet she sent Cal to, or, like, if she did, then, like I don't know, something went wrong. The ship went off track, and she ended up in a wormhole, or she ended up on the wrong planet or something. I don't know. But I kind of like the idea of her coming from, like, not Earth to meet him, you know, like, rather than just, like, being in a wormhole the whole time, or just, like, whatever, or, like, being on Earth the whole time but never showing herself. You know, I don't really like the idea of her being on Earth and never showing herself the whole time, because it's like, why? Like, so much stuff has happened, and if she's just been here the whole time and just in secret, then it's
well,
like...
that's the thing. There's, like,
I also think that, like, it's really... I think I like the idea of having Clark sort of, like, have a different kind of ownership over the shield on this planet, and I feel like if she predates him on Earth, then it seems like he just sort of, like, took the shield, rather than he being the guy who decides what the shield means on Earth, and then being like, here, you know. I think that the passing of the shield really matters to me. It's a huge sticking point. I've never written a story that hasn't put, like, extreme emphasis on, like, that passing of the shield, because it's kind of like the only thing left of his culture, and it's also something that, like, he has to define the meaning of for himself, that then Kara comes and she's kind of, like, pushing back against him, like, you know, like, we have the same freaking shield, dude, like, this is what it means to me, even though that's, you know, what it means to you, or what your father told you it meant, and there's, like, levels to that. It feels more contentious if she's been on Earth all this time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, like, seriously, can you, like, imagine a scene where, like, the two of them are meeting, they're talking about it, and then Clark is like, it's meant to wind, like a river, and hope is like your car keys, and that's what it means.
Don't stop. Please, no. Don't say those words out loud.
That's terrible. Ugh.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Speaking of Hope being like car keys, can we start ripping this guy a new one? I'm so ready. I've been waiting for my whole life for this.
Okay, so if you guys want to read along, just look up Joss Whedon Wonder Woman script. I'm sure you'll be able to find it somewhere. So we picked out our roles prior to recording. So Danielle will be our narrator, which in itself will be very interesting. Steve is going to be played by Gene. I'm going to be voicing Diana. Granted, this was by the suggestion of everyone else. This wasn't like I decided to be Diana.
You're the star of the show. Deal with it.
I don't know. The way Josh is written is more like Steve's the asshole star of the show, if you ask me.
That is true.
Congrats, Gene.
I get to be the star I was always meant to be. Yay.
Well, not the way Josh intended, but...
the way our wonderful
Lord and Savior.
Okay, so and then there's like several like side characters and like weird villains and stuff along the way. So everyone's gonna have like some part in this. So I'm ready to start whenever you guys are. So I mean, Danielle, if you want to go ahead and get this shit show started.
I'm ready. All right.
All right. Here we go.
Wonder Woman, written by Joss Whedon. For the record, there's no walking it back, Joss. Your name is on it.
Yay.
This was August 7th, 2006. Notice, this material is the property of Mutant Enemy and is intended for use only by authorized personnel. Distribution or disclosure of this material or unauthorized persons is prohibited. The sale, copying, or reproduction of this material in any form or medium, in whole or in part, is strictly prohibited. So we're breaking the law, everyone.
Okay.
All right.
Now we're getting in the script proper. You gotta put on the fancy voice.
How do I read?
Okay. Read this. Okay, read this. Wait, read it in Clark's big boy voice. How about that?
Oh yeah. Oh no. Let me try and get my inner Hilo on. In the time of the ancient Greeks, the most powerful warriors on Earth were the Amazon women. Proud, mighty, and cunning, they were never defeated in battle. Legend tells that Ares, the god of war, grew jealous of their power and had them imprisoned, their wrists bound in mystical chains. Chains that robbed the Amazons of all their power.
Double kinky.
Tamed and imperiled, the Amazon queen Hippolyte prayed to Athena. Oh shit. Goddess of wisdom, for deliverance from their slavery. The Amazons vanished from the earth. Alright.
Like the world needs them most, they vanished.
They're gone. Alright. Exterior. In the sky. Day. We see the rolling gray fury of a storm. An old twin-engine prop plane roars into frame from above us. Be clear, she's a she. She bucks bravely amidst the wind, rain, and crackling flashes of lightning. We can hear her practically shaking apart. Her, she's a lady. She's a lady.
This is a very sexual choice of words.
Amber says the plane gets more respect than Diana. It's true.
Right. We have respect for this plane's resolve. Interior, plane, continuing. Inside, the noise is even worse. Boxes of cargo, most with a red cross, shake and pitch with the plane. The pilot holds the steering column as it bucks, maybe 30. Kind, determined eyes in a working man's face.
1,000-mile stare.
He's been working, you guys. He's not a pansy.
He's
All
a
right.
working man.
Amber says, see, Steve is a good guy, works for the Red Cross. I love how it says his eyes are kind, but he's not kind in this whole freaking script.
Well,
No.
Not kind.
His eyes are though, so it
Because
counts.
we
That's all
said
that
it
matters.
once, we said it once, and therefore it is fact. We don't need to repeat it ever again. Or
Don't you
prove
love
it.
when they do that?
Yeah, I love prescriptive writing. Okay.
Steve Trevor takes a hand off the wheel long enough to jiggle the radio toggle. He has to shout just to hear himself.
Groundlings, this is lame duck. Come back.
His answer is static. The plane pitches.
This is lame duck. I got a forced gazillion hurricane in my face. Visibility is 0, and my readings are angle.
The dials are spinning and moving uncontrollably.
They're shot. My instrument panel's having serious emotional issues. I am lost at sea.
That is the most Whedon thing ever. My instrument panel's having serious emotional issues.
I'm walking now.
that?
Excuse me. This is very sexy.
Sexy plane.
Plane is emotional. Amber says the plane is emotional. Like a woman.
Guys, we're only on like the 3rd page.
Lightning rides down, inches from the wing. Steve banks hard, and his radio crackles. A South African accent coming through.
Okay, who can do a South African accent?
If you guys point to me, I swear to God.
Hey, I thought this guy was white mate because he never said that he was black. I'm like, is he white South African or is he black South African? And then later they said he's black, so I can't do it. So I just.
Okay, I have no idea what a South African accent even sounds like.
It's okay. Josh doesn't either. He probably just inserts a Jamaican accent right here. Just whatever.
Trevor, but you guys watch Trevor Noah? He's South African, and he talks.
Doesn't he sound British?
No, he sounds.
No, he's like I don't know.
He's got like a slightly, I don't know.
Okay, let me see if I can try it. All right, lame duck. No, I can't. Wait.
I can't do accents there, sir.
Pick an accent. He's Irish now.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna try Irish. Hold up.
Just go full Scotty if you want to.
Alright.
But Scotty is Scottish.
Lame duck, this is ground. Come back, eh? Oh wait,
We're so terrible at the accents.
Okay,
Screw it, the accent changes every time.
Amber says he's Canadian now.
Hey, at least we're enjoying this so far.
Alright.
Steve has the next line.
Ben.
Who's been?
You're Ben.
Okay. Steve, be advised. There be weather pattern head. Wait, I can't understand any of it. Alright, Steve, be advised. There be weather. There may be a weather pattern heading.
What?
There may be a little weather.
Okay, I'll look out for that then.
I can barely read you. What's your bearings?
That is such a great
That's
accent.
good.
You're killing me right now.
Oh, hold on. I gotta get myself together. Alright. The scorching pop makes Steve throw off his headset. Communication fried. He concentrates on looking ahead.
Oh, he's such a manly man, isn't he?
Lightning hits the left propeller. Steve stubbornly rides the wheel. He's riding her.
Oh my god.
Oh,
As she starts tilting down.
Oh wait, the plane is a
Bucking
she?
sporadically. Steve's face set as he realizes he's not gonna make it. The windshield is pounded by the rain, then isn't, as the clouds whip away to reveal an island, green and lush.
Where the hell? Where the hell?
The grinding.
Much like a woman, Amber says.
Grinding.
You guys, the grinding. The grinding of his dying plane.
Okay, guys,
Reminds
we need to
Steve.
come up with a drinking game for this. Like,
Oh, I know.
like take a shot every time a sexual
Innuendo.
sexual lexicon is used to describe an inanimate object.
The grinding of his dying plane reminds Steve to stop wondering where he is. He scans the terrain for a landing spot, but this side of the island is all trees and waterfalls. He banks toward a river, and the thing most resembling a landing strip. The plane dips, a peak between him and the river. We're in the plane now. We're outside the plane?
We're both.
No one knows. He clears the mountainous plain by inches. Steve pulls up on the column with everything he's got. The plane skims treetops and clears to the riverbed. The back hits first, then the front slams down, water geysering up in front of Steve as the plane rockets down the river, clipping trees on the bank with its wings. This is so long. All right, the river takes a sharp turn.
Very Twilight-esque.
It's like very, very into this plane crash. It's very important to be precise. He crashes into Themyscira, and then something else happens. The river takes a sharp turn. The plane heaves off onto the side, taking out trees, bucking brutally. It's bucking again. Oh,
Good, fucking.
Big shot.
Teacher wrenches out of its mooring, and he tumbles back, strapped in and helpless, as he bounces off walls and huge metal boxes are tossed on top of him. Well,
Metal
he's dead.
boxes on top of
He's
this
dead.
man.
The plane spins out, hitting an incline and sliding sideways downhill till it's stopped short by a couple of big trees. As it settles, the camera moves above it, then past, to show the nearly endless ravine the trees kept it from plummeting into. This is like how he's a director, you guys. Taking this very
This is like the kind of absolutely useless, gratuitous action sequence that you see in his movies.
This is so long. It's just a plane crash. Just drop him. Drop him.
Okay, but there's one thing I noticed about this, and I'm gonna just make this quick. To start a Wonder Woman movie off with Steve Trevor crashing into Themyscira, it just feels so weird because, okay, what island is he crashing into? Why is he riding a plane? Why is this happening?
Not weird sexual imagery of him penetrating the foreign ladies on the land in the first place?
Oh, God.
God.
He might as well have embedded his plane in the side of a mountain. Honestly. I'm not cool with it from the get-go. From the get-go, I'm not giving you the benefit of the doubt. Alright. Let's see. Oh, we've already gone there. The terrible wrench of violated metal. It's begun.
It's been done.
He wriggles out of his chair, but his legs caught under boxes, and reaching for it, he realizes he's got a broken wrist. He's got a broken wrist. He's not dead. He's just got a broken wrist.
All those boxes fell on top of him, and he's just like, "Oh, my wrist is broken." Me.
All right. Where am I?
He breathes.
Amber says, I haven't read the Wonder Woman 2017 scripts, but I'm sure that Alan Heinberg was like, Steve crashes. Then he waxes poetic about Diana jumping off the cliff.
Exactly. All right. He breathes heavily, looking around for a way out of this. The thump on the roof makes him jump. He looks up, not understanding what he's hearing. Then there is another. Something's on top of the plane!
Time, sexy.
His eyes fearfully follow the sound as it moves up the plane. He looks about for something to defend himself with. Something tugs at the door. Steve watches. With an agonized screech, it gives a bit. Oh, Steve was watching with an agonized screech, and I was like, yeah!
Watch his ass with an agonized
Steve watches, screaming the entire
Guys,
time. Just screaming.
Okay, guys, you ready for this? You ready?
Oh,
Y'all
we are
ready?
so ready for this.
Y'all ready? Okay, then.
Yes!
Hit it!
What's happening? Alright. It gives a bit, and a bit more. The door is pulled right off its hinges. and there stands the silhouetted girl in her archaic white shift.
I'm sorry, guys. You gotta play Careless Whisper.
Someone hum it. Peering into the plane as the door continues to twirl in air behind her.
Amber says, I'm about to eat, and I can't keep listening. I'm gonna end up spitting up my food.
I got the perfect music.
I'll play it out loud.
Can you hear it?
Oh, a bit louder.
Yeah, I can hear something. Yeah.
This is as loud as it can go, unfortunately.
Is that the Titanic music? My heart will go on.
It continues to twirl in the air behind her, finally dropping out of sight as she steps tentatively into the plane, and we hear a distant splash. Close. Oh no! Here it comes. Close to the girl. To say that she is beautiful is almost to miss the point. She is elemental, as natural and wild as the luminous flora surrounding her. Her dark hair waterfalls to her shoulders in soft arcs and curls. Her body is curvaceous, but taut. Not fat, guys. She's not fat. Taut as a drawn bow.
Oh, God.
She wears burnished metal bracelets on both wrists, wide and intricately detailed. Her shift is of another era. We'd call it ancient Greek. What does she call it? She's barefoot.
Okay.
She looks. Can we just? What just happened there? I feel violated.
Character, and he's describing her like she's an other. Like that's so weird.
She's fucking hot, you guys. Not fat, hot.
But like, that's to miss the point.
Like muscly.
You're missing the point
but
now.
Also really hot. Like don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. She's real hot. She looks around her with intense curiosity, her face coming out of silhouette and into the light.
The light in the plane? Which light? It's light outdoors.
The light sort of coming directly from Steve Trevor. He's glowing.
He's the sun.
He's the sun.
Wait, what?
Even as she concludes Diana's first line.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay, so hold on. I have to get into character. Give me a second. It's hollow.
That's awesome.
As she steps in a bit more, Steve gets a look at her. This is definitely not what he expected.
He didn't expect a hot lady.
Hey!
She starts at his voice, instinctively moving back toward the doorway, though more in strategy than startled.
What is that, Daphne? What is that? That's bullshit. Okay,
She's
anyway.
a deer. She's a deer.
Wait,
she's describing a deer.
I need help. I'm stuck here. Do you speak English?
He just spoke English. Is he stupid?
Yes. She steps in, checks out his plight. Where's his plight?
Hi, yeah, it's my leg. It's pinned. If you could get to a phone, get some equipment here to...
Oh, yeah, because there's definitely a phone.
Can I just say, his reaction, his wrist is broken and he's not in pain. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's the adrenaline, but, like, later on, he's still, like, he's not even...
He's a tough soldier, macho man. Of course he doesn't feel pain.
Like, his wrist is broken and he never even winces. It's ridiculous.
Like, I can't run this off, lady, so if you could just, like, unpin me, I'll just, saunter off into the sunset. Don't worry about me. Squatting, she pulls the box off him with one hand. It's important that we remember that the camera is now between her legs as she squats. Never even looking at it as she tosses it back up onto a shelf. She stares at him intently.
You look horrible.
Oh my god, Nick, you were born for this.
The leg's okay, but I think my wrist is broken.
No, your face. It's so...
She can't find the word, but gesturing to her own chin might indicate that it's the stubble that's throwing her off. Jesus fuck.
Well, I'm crashing, so I didn't have time to.
Yeah, because women
guss
don't
me
have
up.
stubble.
I guess not.
I saw her glider doesn't even seem to understand the air very well.
Fried my engine. I didn't ever think I was gonna make it. Actually, I'm not entirely sure I did.
She reaches for his face, touches it. Realization breaks her face into a wondrous grin.
You're a man.
You sound like Brittany Matthews from the most popular girls in school, like the Barbie doll series. Anyway,
Like, oh my god,
Wow.
you're a man.
wow, no getting anything past you.
You know what's
Condescension.
interesting
By the way.
is that there are a few scenes in this script that are similar to ones in Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman movie, but the way that things are treated are just so different. Like in Patty Jenkins, she touched his face and she was like, "You're a man," and all this stuff. But just like the way the situation was handled, it's just
And the way that Steve Trevor responded was, yeah, do I not look like one? Because he's not insulting her intelligence. He's just like, do I not look like a man?
yeah.
And in this one he just responds to straight condescension.
It's his
wow, no
insecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his insecurity versus her lack of intelligence. Like he's just like, oh hey, like what did I land looking like? Do I look wrong? Is everything okay? Alright. But he's as mesmerized as she. Neither of them moving as her fingers sensuously trace his face after a time.
Yeah. Who are you?
Diana.
Oh god.
Steve Trevor, it's nice to...
The plane lurches again, breaking the spell, not a little.
We gotta get out of here.
She slides her arm around him, gracefully pulling them both up and moving to the door. He looks down into the abyss.
Whoa, no, not a plan here.
She grabs his shirt front and sticks him out over the ravine.
And drops him, never to be seen again.
Yes,
Disposes of that trash handily.
no, wait, Jesus.
It's alright.
It's not alright.
Try to roll. Watch your arm.
Try to roll. Watch your broken arm.
Roll where?
She heaves him up and over. He lands on top of the plane, rolling and sliding till he goes off the other side. He lands hard, takes a moment to recover, and looks up.
I don't understand what just happened.
I don't know either. We're on
So
a
wait, he
ravine,
fell on
aren't
the
we?
plane?
I
No,
thought we, I
she's
thought we-
jumping off the
I thought
cliff.
we were on a flat, landing surface.
No, I think he was inside the plane, right? So she just threw him out of the door.
To be honest, I don't think Joss
Like
really
then
knew where they
so much
were.
garbage.
No, so the
Plane
plane is sideways, right? So the door is on top of him.
I'm so confused.
So she just throws him out.
Well, the exterior shot showed us a ravine. Like, it was like we almost fell off a cliff, and then she threw him off of it. So, I don't know what's happening. Like, could we not see the bottom of the cliff, and it was like 2 feet down?
Is that it?
I don't know.
Alright. It feels safer now.
She said she throws him off he goes off the other side. So, maybe not the ravine.
Okay, Steve
Okay.
has 15 sharp gleaming spears in a semicircle around his head. I guess not.
Kinky.
They're held by 15 women, armored and helmeted in the Greek style, backlit enough to be dark and almost inhuman. Stress, they are technically animals. Absolutely.
Maybe.
What?
I just don't know what yeah. Like yeah. Yeah.
They march, their feet tromping with grim precision. They have encircled him and bound his wrists with rope. Diana
I didn't know we
walks
were in
beside
Wakanda.
him.
Oh, jeez.
Austere Hephaestia, the captain of the guard, who holds the other end of the rope that leads the captive Steve.
Look, I just want to use a phone. I've got important supplies on my plane. There's people waiting.
Hephaestia yanks his rope, and he goes to his knees.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't do that voice anymore. I feel like I was sounding too much like Tommy Wiseau.
Bruh.
Okay, I'm going to do a different voice. Okay. Hephaestia!
She moves to help him up. He stands, continues walking.
So
I
did
love how she's so immediately protective of him for no reason. She's so protective of him from like the beginning, and I'm like,
man, he's a precious resource.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like Pocahontas, like Disney Pocahontas in a way.
Yeah. There's definitely like some sort of like man invading the native woman sort of narrative happening here, which is wild because that's like not the story.
You know, I'm
He
getting
added it.
I'm getting some real like Avatar vibes here, where the guy is just a fucking asshole and just like why are you defending him?
No, but in Avatar, at least there was a reason. Like there was a sign from AWA, so she thought it was like a message. But
That's true.
Here, there's no message. There's no reason to like even think this guy needs to be protected.
I mean, hold up. She might have a prophetic dream at some point, but like.
Later
basically.
though. Later.
Yeah. We have no context for her being like, Steve is precious. Don't hurt him. All right.
So did any of you guys hear about the 20th century? It just happened. It was so cool.
Whedonisms continue.
Oh my god.
This is not as it should be. I'll make it right.
Wait, who's Hephaestia?
Basically Whedon's version of of
The aunt?
no, Hephaestia is
Kind of like
Oh, the
Antiope,
girl who
kind
trains
of?
Diana, right?
Is she a sexy lamp?
no that girl hasn't showed up yet.
No, I'm betting that Hephaestia was probably a really like large, like I would probably say black lady to the point that she's like aggressive and dehumanized. I would guess that you probably cast her like really like buff and black, but not like too buff. So like I'm picturing like I don't know, like his like Zoe. That's about as buff as it gets.
All right. Let me see. I'll do Hephaestia then. It is not to be spoken to. But what's that?
Oh, it. They're calling the man it.
Yeah, because this shit wasn't transphobic enough yet. Let's go for more. More.
You overstep your authority, Hephaestia.
And you have
Dang,
broken
Diana.
the first law. How do you think the queen will take it? How do you think the queen will take that?
That's my concern.
Yes, it is. By all rights, your fate should be his.
Oh, we switched pronouns.
Oh, wait, it is. Oh, so now we know it's a he.
And who will administer my fate? You?
Dick measuring
Hephaestia backs off.
They're
turns,
fighting over
begins-
the man.
Begins them marching again.
You should have killed it.
back to it.
I will not kill a helpless human.
For the record, I am not helpless. I'm just biding my time till I wake up.
That's a really MCU reminiscent kind of thing.
For real.
I don't know
Okay,
who
yeah.
would say
Honestly,
that.
can I just say, like,
I feel like Peter Quill would say that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've heard Peter too.
can I just say, like, I know that this is Jocelyn and we know it's bad, but God, this is so fucking horrible.
It's really bad. I put myself through this whole script. Oh God. All right.
And we're only, what, like 7 or 8 pages in? Jeez.
This last trails off as they reach the top of a hill and look out at Themyscira. It's a vision of a city nestled in the lush green hills. Greek in many aspects. It has an organic look. There's like a Whole Foods.
Not organic. It's
that is particular
an island. It's
to
rock.
the Amazon.
It's trees.
Not just straight stone columns. More than 100 women are visible, walking, talking, weaving, forging. There is an arena near the bottom with women training at games and swordplay.
You can see all that from where you are?
Everything. They're the highest point of Themyscira. They just climbed a mountain. As the gaze sweeps over the city, it lands on the top of the hill where the Queen's Court sits. It is wide, open, majestic, but not gaudy.
What is with
not gaudy?
Does he describe things like this? Like he's
like, it's all this, but it's not that.
Yes! Don't get me wrong. Like, stop misinterpreting me. I'm so misunderstood.
Yeah, poor thing. Stealing people's movies and destroying their work and their art and their livelihood. Hiring Danny Elfman. Hiring Hans Zimmer. Like, okay.
Existing.
Okay.
Oh, is it my turn? Where the hell am I?
The bad news is that Steve is constantly talking. He never stops.
I know.
Ugh.
This is sorry. This is Themyscira, home.
Who's home?
The Amazons.
The Amazons are a legend.
How the fuck do you know about the Amazons? Just kidding.
Because Amazons are like
That wasn't a line. That wasn't a line. We are? Good. We should be. What the fuck?
Sure.
Amber says he took a women's studies course in college. He knows about Amazon.
Alright.
Danielle?
Danielle, are you alive?
Oh, I turned off my mic. I was laughing at I was being disruptive. Alright. They pass by open shops, but there is little commerce being done as every eye locks on a man being led by.
Okay.
The man. The Amazons were Greek and ancient. How could you speak my language?
All languages come from the same place.
The Patty Jenkins version was better of that explanation.
How did they explain it? Because I kind of forgot.
They said that like they studied all of men's languages because I don't know, they just did.
Oh.
Maybe they're thousands of years old. They have time to kill.
That's true.
A girlfriend of Diana's.
Oh, that's me.
Aethra?
Ethra?
Urethra. More student than athlete and very lovely, hurries gracefully to her side.
Is that really a?
That was way too good.
I'm a Steve.
This is unbelievable. What's to be done with him?
Damn.
Al.
Oh, yeah.
That is for the Queen to decide.
Come with us to the court.
It never occurred to me not to.
I'm done.
You sound like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz.
She falls into step, whispering into Diana's ear. Diana looks briefly shocked.
Well, I would have. While you can. What is she talking about?
I don't know.
She just leaned over and went, "Fuck him."
Oh my god. That's what happened? That's so gross.
Hippolyte is every inch a queen. Noble, beautiful, thoughtful. She's middle-aged, but very much in her prime. She's hot, guys. She's an old fucking hag, but I would still do her.
MILF? Question mark?
She's old, but I stand it.
She's approached by Circe, an older woman. Circe is honest and humble, but her eyes pierce well beyond common sight.
So Circe wouldn't fuck me, but I would fuck her.
Voicing Cersei, Rebecca's voice Cersei?
Oh, sure.
And then I get wait, unless I could be Hippolyta or whatever.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, let's start again. The god returns, my queen. Because she's not hot.
Is it what we thought?
Man.
All this time, and the gods still mock us. Alive?
Geez, she nods a lot, doesn't she?
Yeah, would have killed him on the spot, but she was not the first to find him.
Oh, Amber says she's British, so let's go.
Of course she's British.
Okay, Nephisi would have killed him on the spot, but she was not the first to find him.
This news tightens the corners of Hippolyte's mouth. She shows a lighter face as she turns.
Need I bother to ask who has, or who was?
Zooms. Diana. Okay.
Looking out with defiant
Cartoonish
reserve. Widened to see the huge space is open on all sides to the lush green and shining city around it. Pillars hold up the latticed ceiling, and the middle open to the sky. Hippolyte's throne is a step up from the floor, and she sits in it contemplatively.
Okay, can I just say, like, we aren't mispronouncing Hippolyta. Josh just doesn't know how the fuck to type it.
Oh, I'm pronouncing it as spelt. As spelt, consistently. Probably changing a little bit, because there's no right way to say Hippolyte. Hippolyte. Ringed about the room are assorted Amazons, counselors, guards, and the curious throng.
Oh, that is a
Steve is
thong.
on his knees already. Head low.
Oh.
With Hephaestia by his side to keep him that way. A few paces behind him stands Diana, Urethra at her side.
Do you know where you are?
No, I got blown off course. I have no idea where I am. And even if I did, I'd be happy to forget.
Here, I have a roofie for you. Just no, I'm just kidding. Let him stand.
He does, and she approaches him, still staying on the landing that gives her height advantage.
Thank you. Shut up.
It's very important. She's taller than him.
And she's pretending to be
Amber
taller
says
than him.
kill
There's
him.
more
Oh my
distinction.
god.
She has to stand on a step to be taller than him. She's not actually taller than him.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
What a
important
loser we
distinction. Important distinction.
Okay.
If we help you repair your glider and send you on your way, would you never speak word of this place?
Scout's honor.
She whips something at him. A glowing rope she has looped in her hand. It loops around him in an instant, binding to itself with a crack that startles everyone there. He stands, the glowing golden rope pinning his arms to his sides.
Amber says Joss must have felt so emasculated writing the Amazon.
This rope was woven at Delphi by the oracles, blessed by Athena herself. Within it there can be no lies, no prevarication, whatever. You will. I can't do the accent anymore. You will speak true.
I did. Except I wasn't a scout. Winky face.
Wow.
Were you sent here?
I was blown here
Wow.
by a storm no one else could see.
Yeah, the female storm.
Murmurs.
Storm of a woman.
Very sexy plane.
Everyone's murmuring. Urethra looks at Diana, but she is fixated on the proceedings.
Where were you headed?
Aether and Diana are clearly girlfriends, like actual girlfriends, but Joss is just too scared.
For real.
Honestly.
Queer baiting.
Diana is totally hitting that.
I
Aether's
ship
just
it.
too lovely. She's just so lovely.
Amber, what the fuck? Amber just said what?
With a female plane that helped
Plane
him penetrate the female island.
Okay. Wait, did you say the line already?
Yeah.
Osinj, on the border of Albania, there's a camp of refugees there. My plane, my glider, has food and medical supplies on it that they need.
And if you left, you would never speak of this place.
Never.
Not for gold, not for power.
No.
To save your own life.
No.
You have friends, family. If they were to be killed or tortured, would you betray us then?
Oh, yeah.
Much louder murmurs. Hippolyte whips the rope off him. It returns to her already coiled. She moves back to her throne, pondering, turns and addresses the room.
Wait, can I just say one thing? This kind of sounds like, so you're not going to tell anyone? Nope. You promise? Nope. Do you mean it? Nope. Are you sure? Okay, maybe.
No man may set foot on this island. This is our first and most sacred law. Looking at Steve. The penalty for trespass is death. This is absurd.
Defend your man.
It's absurd.
The man that already belongs to you for some reason.
Hippolyte shoots her a look that would shut anyone else up.
Laws mean very little to you, Diana. Compared to a life, less than little. The law considers every life. Every woman on this island is under my protection. Thousands of lives to weigh against one.
Your math's a little off, Your Majesty. Oh, the condescension. Okay.
Hephaestia moves threateningly toward him. A slight gesture from the queen stops her.
The refugee camp I was heading for, they've been cut off from the mainland for months by border wars. They're sick and they're starving. My people have been negotiating and scrounging and bribing to get one relief shipment in. One. You want to kill me? I can't stop you, and I don't really care. But my plane doesn't get where she's going, there'll be 3 dead for every life you think you're saving. What does your law say about that?
Okay, now let's compare this to Chris Pine's speech in Wonder Woman. His speech about the war, okay? Mm-hmm. This Steve is like, oh, well, you guys are a-holes, because I want to get to my plane to those people. Okay?
I'm morally
I need to protect them, okay? Okay, Chris Pine's Steve was just like, there's a terrible war. You know, we have to help people. You know, he was humble. This one, it's like he's up his own ass or something.
Oh yeah, he's definitely teaching the queen of the fucking Amazons a lesson, and I can't sit for it. It's amazing. Like, the audacity to write these words on a piece of paper. To be like, oh, then Steve totally, like, fucking schools this queen of the Amazons.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're so ignorant. I'm helping refugees. You're the monster here. Like, fuck you, dude. Like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
Amber says Josh just doesn't get mother-daughter relationships, man. I'm so blessed we got Hippolyta and Diana having such an important relationship in the Jenkins movie.
Yeah, like, their relationship has to be contentious because they're 2 women, and women cannot like each other.
We know this, right?
Tension. It's, I mean, like, I've seen everything he's ever made. He honestly and authentically believes that.
Doesn't Buffy have, like, a BFF or something?
Yeah, she fights with her, like, 7 times during the series, and, like, they never, like, there's, like, a whole, like, basically, I think that Joss thinks that Willow's in love with Buffy, and that's never going to be not an obstacle for them. That's what I think, but...
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. Where are we?
Nick.
Your concern is for these refugees, Hippolyta.
Wait, I thought I already said that.
Oh,
You want to rope me?
wow. He's inviting it.
wow.
Straight to the.
You want to rope me?
Yeah.
I
Do it.
Wait.
Don't stop.
see.
She thinks approaching him more closely.
And if I told you, you must die, but I would ensure these supplies were delivered after?
I could trust you to do it?
My word as a queen.
I feel like you have to say that you have to deliver this like really intimate, you know, like really like sexual tension-y.
Oh, that's
Like a
true.
hot older lady.
Okay. My word as a queen.
A moment. He stares at her.
Deal.
No!
Diana.
That was so Rocky Horror.
This man is no warrior, and Amazon kills in battle, not in bloodless negotiation. Whether he means to be or not, this man is a threat to our existence. This is not justice. It is what is necessary, and it is my will.
Paternalistic. Okay.
Wow.
The growing murmur stops dead.
Does Joss love the
and
word murmur?
Hippolyte stare at each other, each in controlled ire.
You see, at this point, it's just like there's just no context for this at all.
Yep.
We don't care about their relationship. It's
The
about
movie
it's
just
about
started and
Diana.
already Annie died right in here.
Hippolyte turns away to Circe.
Make sure he is well housed for the night. Tend his arm.
And rope him.
Leave us all. I would have words with my daughter.
Steve looks at Diana because he's a fucking idiot, making the connection. Just as Hephaestia urgently hurries him away, the court empties quickly as Hippolyte wearily sits and Diana steps to her. She steps to her.
Okay. Do we want to temporarily cast someone else as Hippolyte?
Yeah,
He does a lot
It's
of
gonna be a bit
big talking to
confusing.
himself.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay, so I'm still Diana. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're going to ask me to stand by while... Okay, wait, sorry. If you're going to ask me to stand by while...
What is the first law?
Oh, we're in Wakanda now?
I was trying to do her accent.
It's okay. It's okay.
Do it, Wakanda.
Good.
And I swear to God, this isn't like a race thing. You just sounded a lot like Chadwick Boseman.
No
Okay.
colonizers are allowed in.
Alright. No man shall set foot on this island.
What is the first law?
No man shall set foot on this island, lest the Amazon race should perish.
We came here to escape tyranny of men.
Okay, first, okay, can I just say, this whole argument, okay, first of all, to Steve's defense, he didn't choose to be there.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's, like, mad at Diana, like, this is horrible.
Why did you bring me this man who is dying?
He's not even dying, he just has, like, a broken arm.
Inconvenience.
Honestly, he should have died right there on the plane, okay?
He should have.
Sorry.
He was dead.
He should have died after that first line, God.
She holds out her hands and she speaks and Diana places hers begrudgingly in them. Hippolyte turns her palms up as the light glistens off of Diana's bracelets.
Wait, Hippolyte turns them palms up. What? That is...
Their entire bodies, both of them, palms up.
Like turn them
Joss. How does Joss... Seriously, reading this garbage, how does Joss have a career?
No one knows.
Alright, you wear the symbol of our subjugation, but you do not know what it is like. When these are bound, we were powerless. The pain, the shame, the slaughter. No Amazon will ever be bound again.
She moves by Diana as they both look out at Steve being led down the hill.
Oh.
Oh, that's over.
Steve Trevor must be an honest man, but Steve Trevor must be an honest man, but he connects us to a world more brutish and mad than the ones we fled. Oh, wait.
Turning back to her.
Oh, I'm sorry. He cannot peaceably stay, and he cannot be allowed to leave. Do you see? Do you not see?
I see only murder.
Whoa, Edge. Your eyes are clouded.
They are clear, mother.
Sexuality? Clouded by what?
With meatballs.
They are clear, mother. Maybe for the first time.
Oh, because the man
She
opened her
starts to
eyes.
leave.
Oh ho ho!
I envy the luxury of your clarity. I am queen of Themyscira. My responsibilities weigh heavily on me. It's simpler for those who've never had any.
Whoa, bitch. Alright.
Slay.
Diana
Amber
throws
says
her
she
a
saw a
frustrated
man
look.
and she's smart now.
That is how wisdom comes. Diana throws her a frustrated look as she goes.
So she's pouting now?
Oh,
Oh,
this,
yeah,
guys,
this
this is
is
one of those garbage
Interesting.
scenes where Steve acts like a total douchebag and Whedon still expects us to root for him.
Let's face it, it's really nice.
What?
Big.
What is that?
That's not something I said. That's not my words.
Okay,
That's
honestly,
something Whedon wrote on the page. That's not. That sounds like something that I'd said, but it's not. It's what's on the page.
honestly, like everything Whedon does, okay, at least with Justice League and with this, it's like looking at it and being like, what is that?
What happened?
Like,
All right.
straight. It's
Let's
really
face
nice.
it. It's really nice. Big, nicely furnished, a big bed, the works.
Oh!
Steve
Is there a
wanders.
rope attached to the bed?
Steve wanders glumly to his table, covered with sumptuous fruits and baked goods.
But he can never be happy.
He stares at the banquet, picks up a perfect pear.
Oh,
Prison food. I'm just thinking
God.
of the twisted apple.
Oh! Does anyone want to just like take a shit on his face? I do. Alright. She steps out of the shadows behind him.
Why don't you care?
He turns, not particularly surprised to see her. Okay.
Why
She
not?
comes,
Is he
she
a
comes
ninja
close
man?
as she talks. He knows everything. He's a man. There's an attraction between them that neither of them mentions.
Alright.
Okay, so I can.
Possibly.
Whoa! How is there any sort of attraction
wait.
between, like...
There's two levels here. We've not decided in this sentence whether or not they're not mentioning it or if they even know about it at all. We don't know.
As if Diana doesn't know what sexual attraction is because she lives on an island full of women. Especially since later in the script he acknowledges that
Yeah, like
they have sex with each other on their skin.
as Amber just said in the chat, this is the point in the actual movie where we're getting tasteful male nudity. Instead, we're getting prison food,
And
and
sexual
no one
tension.
knows. Yep.
Nick.
Oh, sorry. I lost track. Okay, if you live or you die, do you really not care?
Is this a rescue?
So it matters to you.
Of course.
Wait, when did he say he would whether he cared if he lived or died? Didn't
When
he
they-
just say he went?
When they put the lasso on him and they asked,
Yeah. Well,
would
he
you-
said that Hippolyte could kill him as long as they delivered the refugee goods. And
Uh-oh.
she was like, "You've got a deal," and then sent him to the nicest room in the house for some reason, instead of just fucking killing him, which would have been, normal.
Oh my god, I'm just reading ahead here and this
Don't read ahead!
Don't do it.
Perilous. It's perilous.
Okay.
Don't go alone. It's not
Of course
safe.
it does. It's just, there's other stuff that matters more.
Tell me
Tell you what?
about your world.
It's nice, it's round. What do you want?
We live on Earth too.
I wonder if there's a reason for your coming. Some sign. Something for me to learn.
From your coming.
Wow. All about you. You know, I really should rest up, though, for the dying. Why don't we do this another time?
Oh my god, you're so selfish, Diana. You're so selfish to imagine that things happen for a reason. How could the Wonder Woman movie be about you, Diana?
Exactly.
You
Oh my
disgusting
god,
jerk.
that's literally what's happening. That's
He's
literally what he's saying.
why is the Wonder Woman movie about you? Oh
Yeah,
my
and he
god,
says-
I'm gonna
He
kill
literally
him.
says, in the sassiest teen voice ever, so my imminent death is, wow, all about you. Like, what
Oh
kind
my
of...
god.
What kind?
What? Wait, it's about a lady superhero? Gross. Ew. Why am I even here?
Oh god. Okay,
Amber says, he says it in a Nathan Fillion voice.
but we.
I'll call you. I mean it. Let's keep in touch.
You make no sense. Wait, what? What is this fucking dialogue?
I thought all languages were as one. Let's keep in touch is American for get the hell out of my face.
What?
American. American.
I don't like your manner.
And she's
And
right.
I don't feature spending my last night on Earth playing Discovery Channel for some bored debutante.
What?
hear this?
How is there any attraction here? He's a fucking
Asshole.
asshole.
Those rich ass girls who like to go to parties and
Absolutely.
Marry
Amber just put this in the chat, and it's true. It's true. Oh my god. It's the Nathan Fillion voice, and this is what's in my head every time that I read this fucking script. He wrote this role for Nathan. He definitely 100% did. He wrote it for Nathan
Yeah.
Fillion.
I'm trying to
Absolutely
channel
did.
that. I'm trying to channel that Nathan Fillion. Okay.
And Nathan, and I'm so glad this didn't happen because Nathan Fillion deserves so much better.
I know Nathan can
that.
do better. I don't know if Nathan wants to do better, but
Uncharted film he did?
Man.
I did see that Uncharted film that he did, the fan one, and that was fucking awesome. So, and I love that franchise. But anyways, back to this shit.
where were we?
I'm just trying to understand
Okay.
Understand what?
your world.
You can't.
Can't?
Can't. Is there another new word for you? Means are unable to.
I know what it means. I'm not fucking stupid.
But you wouldn't even listen to me. You're just mansplaining.
You and I have nothing in common.
We have nothing in common, Diana, so I can't explain anything to you.
Okay, so at this point, at this point, can we just like throw in our own bit of dialogue?
Just do it. Just ad lib. But like, has there ever been a day you didn't have everything you wanted? Have you ever been hungry? Chucks a pear at her. Oh my god.
What?
Hard. He threw a pear at her head. I'm like, okay, cool.
What is this?
Worked 20 hours a day underground for no pay, been spat on, stepped on, shot at. I can approach
You
her.
don't know what it's like to be a man, Diana. It's hard.
I mean, essentially, your mom is queen of Crazy Town, but she's right to be scared. You want to stay as far away from the real world as possible. They eat you alive, princess.
He
Oh my
is
God.
so, like, the way
Oh
that
my
he's
God.
talking to her, and Joss is on his side. Like,
Yes.
oh my
Well,
God.
excuse me, princess.
Jesus, what?
Jesus.
He's, like, checking her privilege, and it's like, really? Like, you're
Her
gonna
privilege of like not being in the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Like
He's like, let me check your privilege,
like
princess.
here in the patriarchy.
I just want to know. I just want to know.
Walk uphill both ways in the snow.
I seriously want to know, like, who reads this shit and sees everything else Joss has done and be like, oh, he's a true feminist. He's on our side.
How could you? This is the thing that broke me. Honestly, this is the thing where I was like, well, like before this, I was like, oh well, like he thinks he's a feminist, like he's trying real hard, and he just like fails a lot, and he's really bad at it. And then I read this, and I was like, oh my god, Joss Whedon hates women. so much.
So
Okay.
Okay, is it my or where
Yeah.
Wait, okay. I am an Amazon.
Yeah. Bend steel with your bare hands. In my world, you wouldn't last a day.
Oh my god.
I don't know about that.
Can you believe this? He's literally talking about trudging through the snow, working in the mines. She could do that. She's an Amazon. She can bend steel with her bare hands. He just said so.
And honestly,
He's like, you're not tough enough.
Super strength won't protect you from your feelings getting real hurt when a lady calls you out and calls you misogynist. It's the worst.
Okay, Amber
You could
said
be bullied off of Twitter.
Amber says they call Zach's work misogynistic. What the F? This is unbelievable. It's terrifying. It's real bad. It's so ignorant. It's unbelievable. It's like I've never seen, like, even though I've read it before, it just gets worse.
I've actually this is the farthest I've been able to read.
Oh my
this
god,
stuff.
really?
Look,
Oh,
This is the
dude.
first time.
Because usually I get to a
This is the
point and I just
first time
stop
I'm
and I'm just
reading
like, this is so fucking bad.
Oh god,
This is
you don't
the
even
first
know.
time I'm reading this. Oh my. Oh jeez.
Y'all know I've read to the end of this, right?
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh boy.
Oh,
It
you're
took
not
a
ready.
while. It's so
How much worse can it get?
Icky, dude,
Not
you
so
don't
much.
understand. You don't
It
know.
can get so much worse. You don't
It
even
gets
know.
so
Like,
much worse,
are you guys
dude.
prepared? Because I don't.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. We really need to bust through this because we're only 20 pages in.
Yeah.
All right. She exits.
We do have something in common, I think.
As she strides glumly away from the room, the guards moving back in front of the doors, we see her at a distance, the camera coming around to find Hippolyte watching her, concern on her face. We are close to Diana as she enters, lost in unhappy thought.
At least tell me you looked at it.
Oh my god! You had a dick at your disposal and you didn't look? Wait.
You didn't see his weenie?
I want to see a wiener! Urethra wraps her arms around Diana from behind.
I told you they're dating.
They're dating. Puts her head on Diana's shoulder. Diana puts her hand over Urethra's, smiling for the first time in a
I
while.
told you Diana was hitting that. Seriously.
How did you know I'd be here?
What night are you not?
Oh.
Nobody knows you as I do. They think you're just restless.
Oh my god.
They think I'm a child, just like him.
And you are.
Some really pedophile
thanks
vibes
for
here.
that.
Wow. I thought Urethra was on our side.
Urethra. I've had more than.
Every night while we sleep, we come here to Athena's temple. What do you ask her for?
I ask what to ask, to know what I want, to be content. I am not what I should be. I can be more. I was meant to be more. I know it. To do something worthy. Looking off. I ask Athena what that is.
And do you think she's answered?
Can it be coincidence? That a man should drop straight from the sky after all this time?
You really think you're the only woman on this island thinks that was her prayer being answered?
Oh,
Right.
Wait, so
fuck.
they
As if
all-
they
Oh.
need the men.
Fuck.
They
were
don't
like,
need the men.
everybody's just like, it's raining dicks.
Oh my god.
Oh, wait.
So wait. So a threesome. So what I'm hearing is a threesome is a possibility.
Basically,
Clearly.
is that not what she's proposing right now? Like, she's
It
like, why
sounds
didn't you
like
bring me
it.
the penis? Like, we had a deal.
Ibra is clearly like thirsty for like all the attention right now. So
Alrighty.
Alright. Wait, what?
I'm failing at this.
That's actually the opening song in this film.
Okay.
Okay. Crap, where
You
were
know
we?
nothing.
Oh, wait.
Jon Snow or whatever.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I seriously lost where we were. Okay. I know nothing. Only that now I'm as unsettled in my mind as I have always been in my heart.
Her vagina is clearly unsettled. Oh my gosh.
Urethra moved to her, takes her hands.
Then don't be a
Our
child.
sentences are breaking down.
Oh. Then don't be a child. Don't ask for guidance, for permission. Don't ask for anything. Tell Athena what you want. Maybe then you'll hear her reply.
Athena, bitch, no.
Oh, you
Okay.
Alright. Moments later, Diana is alone, walking to the statue of Athena. We pop back to see the temple. The temple is huge. The statue 30 feet high. Diana kneels before the statue, looking up at it. She bends her head in prayer. We hold on her in near silhouette as a dissolve to the morning, possibly with sped up clouds and shadows.
Possibly.
I have
You
some
didn't know
ideas.
yes.
I have some ideas. You tell me what you think. Show she's not budged an inch.
Amber says Athena
That is
from
only
the
one way to
skies,
show that.
Athena from the skies, like, you live outside of the patriarchy, my girl. This is a gift.
Athena's like, shut up and just enjoy your fucking feast. Alright. She's still looking down when she hears a rustle. On the floor in front of her, a falcon alights. For a moment, they stare at each other. Why a falcon and not an eagle, you idiot? That's like the actual imagery, you piece of shit. Alright, the falcon screams. Diana's eyes narrow. Everyone is gathering. Steve is led forward. In the morning, this happened in the morning, wrists unbound. Hippolyte stands. Oh my god, is she gonna throw her body over the back of him? Like, are we gonna go full Pocahontas?
Alright, it's me?
Mhm.
Okay. Step forward.
Oh my god.
He does.
Okay. I'm afraid nothing has changed. The sentence stands.
Yeah, I figured. This is all the information on how to get the supplies to Sully to Dr. Sullivan. She'll know what to do with them. There's a note there for her and the guys. It doesn't say anything about this place.
Then you are prepared for your death?
Is that a joke?
I regret this truthfully. And now I shall be handed the power of the Black Panther. It will be quick.
You really do have a Black Wakanda accent.
It's real good.
Yeah, it's
solid.
awesome. It's the
Yeah,
best accent.
the Wakanda have been in my family for generations.
I'm not even kidding, dude. That's like really
swear.
fucking good.
Dude, you should dub Black Panther
I
scene.
swear,
You're
like
so
me
good.
and my family literally watched Black Panther like multiple times, so I kind of got the entire accent down pat.
Dude, I'm so jealous.
She nods to Hephaestia, who takes a step forward, and a screech fills the air, everyone looking about as the same falcon, that falcon, Athena's falcon, wheels in from above, followed by a dozen others.
Too many.
Amazons look about, duck, not terrified, but cautious. The first falcon lands on the queen's throne and screeches at her.
Amber says like Athena would save a man. I agree.
For real. Like, repurpose Athena for this one dude who fell out of the sky. At the feet of the people, we see huge snakes make their way inside as well. People step aside, and the snakes and falcons effectively create a path through the crowd. What the
Why
fuck?
is Whedon like this? Why does he do
Why
this?
is he
When
like
did this
this?
become Moses?
Yeah!
The snakes and everything.
The
Why?
queen says nothing. She knows what's coming.
She
Out
knows
of
what's coming.
the she knows it.
She knows her daughter.
She's
and
been here
like,
before.
animals.
Out of the glare of the sun step two sleek Oh, Jesus fuck.
Oh, Jesus.
Amber says Steve brought the plates. It's just here.
I swear I did not choose the Black Panther accent on purpose. This
Here they
just
come.
happened.
Walking side by side up the path like bridesmaids. Like bridesmaids?
Marrying her to Steve.
Oh my god, Steve's getting married. This is wonderful. Steve looks back at them, at the queen.
Oh, it was Steve.
Sorry.
Steve!
Bracket, so not cool. You're gonna kill me with panthers? That's not quick.
Then we see her coming behind the cats, swathed in cloth that acts as a robe and a hood. Her feet are sandaled in burnished gold, closed at the toe, and reaching almost to the knee, a hint of the warrior's garb beneath the robe. The panther's part, the falcon's perch.
Can you imagine if Patty Jenkins did this? Imagine it. During that scene where she gets the armor, just all the animals come out and just like
animals.
Noah's Ark it right
animals.
over to that boat.
Oh my god.
Alright. What is this?
Hold on. I invoke the right of trial.
No. No, I absolutely forbid you to.
You can't. I don't love the law, Mother, but I do know it. No Amazon can be denied the right of trial.
That's not an Amazon.
Yeah. Unless she's his defense lawyer. So she no.
The politician
Diana
looks
Prince,
down.
attorney at law.
Steve
Greek
leans
suit
over
tie.
to Urethra.
Wait,
Steve,
Oh, sorry. Trial by what?
wait.
Danielle.
Diane?
oh, Diana pulls off her robe in one swift motion.
Oh.
Combat, of course.
Oh my god!
Oh god, here
Beneath
comes.
his,
Here
beneath
comes.
it, oh shit! It started. Beneath is the outfit, the burnished eagle breastplate, the deep red of the cloth bodice, the skirt a Greek's, leather strips low to the middle and cut higher at the hips, dark blue with diamond-shaped silver inlays, the gold sandals matching the wristbands and tiara. A sword is on her hip, which she pulls, pointing at Steve with it.
She pulls the sword.
Oh, pull that sword, Diana.
Pulling it. Don't.
This is the law. If I can defeat Themysciro's greatest warrior in single combat, judgment on this man will be mine to render. He will live, return to his world, and I will go with him.
What did you...
Whoa, what?
If this world of his is truly mad, I would know why. I would know what it is we all fear so terribly. I consider it my responsibility.
Oh shit! That came back. All right.
Honestly, like, okay, again, why is Jenkins' version better? Because in Jenkins' version, she actually has a reason to go. She knows that millions of people are being killed. She knows how terrible it is. In this,
You
she's
can't
just like,
stop
I
me,
want to
Mom.
find
I'm
out.
going on a summer holiday to the islands, and you can't.
Yeah.
You can't make me like. I'm gonna backpack as much as I want.
Yeah. In Patty Jenkins, it's like there was actually a reason. She actually knew that there was a war and everything. Like,
Yeah, and because of Ares.
yeah. There was actual motivation to leave. Here it's just like, there's a
He
man,
hates Diana
and I
so
must
much.
follow my death. He hates her.
He's like
he
all
hates
of these
everything about
intersecting
her.
oppressions mean nothing as long as she's never been hungry or poor, which is like fucking crazy, out of control crazy.
Yeah.
Like.
Alright, don't do this.
My terms are before the court.
A series of games should be necessary to determine.
We can waive that ritual, Cersei. Everyone knows who our greatest warrior is.
Ooh.
Steve.
Oh shit!
Sorry, oh my god. I keep falling
Here he
asleep.
comes.
Sorry.
He's been here 2 minutes, and he's
Honestly,
already the greatest
Hephaestia-
warrior.
Hephaestia is just like the Whedon version of Antiope, but like, there.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, guys. Where are we now? Oh my god.
Hephaestia. Oh, where? What page are we? Are there numbers?
24.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't have numbers.
When you click on the
Hephaestia.
PDF, it should pop up at the top.
Oh, okay, I see. All right, I got it. Hephaestia straightens up, satisfaction undermining her glare. She's waited a long time for this match.
Would someone please give my mother a sword?
Oh, that reminds me of John Wick. Would someone please give my mom a sword?
Hippolyte pulls off her own cloaks. Beneath, she too has a fighter's garb, though not as elaborate as Diana's. Circe nods to the girl who sounds a deep bell. Where'd the fucking bell come from? Come on.
It's in the hall?
Set
It's
it
just
up. We have a giant freaking bell in the middle of this. Everyone moves back, including Steve and the animals.
The animals still hanging around?
They're just
Haven't
like,
they made the point?
Nah. Why are they even there? Tight-lipped, Hephaestia presents her sword to Hippolyte. Steve watches as Hippolyte tests the heft of the sword, twirls it, and turns to point it at her daughter. Why is Steve watching this? What is this?
Wait.
Why is this from Steve's perspective?
Wait, so
Like,
am I
it's
to
happening.
understand? Wait, is this like mother versus daughter?
Yeah, she literally just was like, my mom is the best warrior on the island, so I'm gonna kick her ass.
Why?
Just randomly, probably to piss off what's her face, who really wanted to fight Diana. Hephaestia. Yeah, Hephaestia wanted it. She was like, yeah, we're gonna fight. It's great. Alright. Alright, let's see. She points it at her daughter. An ornate chain fence suddenly rises before his face. What the
Whedon
fuck?
doesn't know when to stop. He doesn't know when is enough.
When did this become WWE cage match?
Yeah, cage match.
With the animals and the intro and the beef or whatever
It's
that they
too
like
much.
to do.
Where's John Cena?
Where's John Cena?
Where's the
Trevor
MC,
is John Cena.
Like,
We all know
announces-
the actual strongest warrior on our island. Where's John Cena?
Isn't it Urethra? Urethra. I mean, she's more student than athlete though, because she's so lovely.
She is more student than athlete. She's the hot one. She's the hot horny bisexual in this script. All right, let's see. There's a fence going up between the two combatants and the audience, coming up out of long slits in the stone. Oh my god, there's regular cage matches in this arena.
Clearly.
From what I'm hearing. Steve and Urethra wait, closing to the fence.
This must seem strange to you.
No, my mom and I did this all the time.
What?
Diana and Hippolyta face each other, each with sword arm out to the side. They bring them in against their chests, blade down, elbow out, in Amazon salute.
Oh god, this is gonna get really detailed.
Then they move. They're fighting, and I don't want to read this shit. They're looking at each other as adders snapping, blades clanging off each other so fast and again, each fight tough and precise and relentless.
And
In
then
Amazon
Diana
training, they don't teach retreat. What?
Diana screams, "Is this your queen?"
Yes, that's exactly what's gonna happen. That's actually how this scene ends.
Wait, really?
No. Where Diana strikes, Hippolyta
the strength
counters.
of the Black Panther will now be stripped away. They didn't strip away the strength of the Black Panther. That's not
skipped
fair.
that. The challenge is invalidated. Diana gets in close, and Hippolyta grabs her and throws her. A wrestler throw, because we're in a cage match. Diana rolling and coming back up with her mother's blade already upon her. Diana finds an opening and slices, ripping only fabric as Hippolyta leans back.
Amber says,
Wet
I'm sorry,
hair.
this just... Amber says, I'm sorry.
Clothing ripping.
Yeah,
True.
yeah.
True.
This is definitely a description. Like, all of it is sort of organized to make them look really primitive and animalistic. Like, why are the animals even there? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, here we go.
Close on the others. Steve, Urethra, Vesta,
Missed
the
the
last
sweat.
being the only one who is enjoying this.
Wait, who's...
Yield.
Diana gets the hilt of a sword across her jaw. She uses it to spin into a decapitating swipe. Holy shit, fuck. That's blocked. Her sword loosened in her hand, and Hippolyta moves in. A foot planted hard on Diana's stomach sends her to her knees. Her sword knocked aside as Hippolyta raises hers.
Steve says no.
And brings it down with all her might. Diana screaming in pain as the sword hits her shoulder and shatters on her skin. Shit.
So she just stabbed her own daughter. Wow.
I mean, she failed to. She hit her with a sword and it broke. For a moment, only the clatter of the shards on stone. Then Diana is back up in a flash, swinging at her mother with brutal force. Hippolyta blocks and pulls Diana close.
In this world, it may not be the sword that will break. You will be weakened and reviled.
Yeah.
And reviled. Daughter, death is out there. Here you are safe. You are strong. You are a princess. There they will make you nothing more. Will you yield?
Diana looks at her with intensity, but no malice.
I can't.
I know.
Oh, shit. She steps back and throws her
Amber
sword
says
down.
Hippolyta snaps her neck. I would, honestly, that wouldn't be terrible.
The fences instantly drop, though now they make no sound. We hear nothing but what is between these two as Hippolyta grabs Diana to her and embraces her fiercely. Both women exhausted and emotional. Like
I
women
thought
are.
Diana was a girl. Didn't he say she was a girl before?
just a little girl. Hippolyta kisses her hand, takes it in her hands, and kisses her head, takes it in her hands, inches from her face. She whispers ungently,
Nick had to leave, so...
oh my god, you get to use the Mufasa voice for the Mufasa line.
Oh, wait. Oh, God, it is Mufasa. Remember who you are. They will take everything from you, but that.
She embraces her again. From above, we see the chamber. We may think it's the same scene, but Steve's plane roars into frame and heads off. Island, the camera following it towards the far-off clouds.
I like
Steve
that you just have to
pilots.
skip over how they were able to repair it. Like,
Yeah, no.
after
Nobody
hitting
has
all
any
those trees
actual.
and everything. I need to know.
Amber's getting there too. How did they fix the plane? Diana kneels in the back, facing away from him. She's in a simple white tunic, which on her is anything but simple. To be clear,
Oh, dang!
still fucking hot. A cloth is opened.
Amber says he can't show the Amazons being smart.
God forbid. A cloth is opened to show her few belongings, the outfit, a sword, and the golden rope her mother used. She runs her hand along it. It glows, underlining the uncertainty and regret she'll not show anyone else. As the plane approaches land, Steve is working the radio, Diana standing behind, looking out. We hear Ben's South African accent, which is now Scottish, coming in over the static.
Wait, can I ask, why does it say we hear Ben's South African accent? Why can't you say we hear Ben's voice? Why do you gotta be like, he's South African, guys?
You guys, he's exotic. It's really important. Like, I put a bunch of nationalities in here. They're just here for 20 seconds apiece.
Alright, let me try it.
Nationality, too.
Alright, let me see. Steve, where the hell you been? Wait, we thought you were lost out in sea, innit?
That's great.
That nationality is fucking shifting.
Oh, I was lost. Alright.
Oh,
Tell
wait, it's
Griffin
not
he better have a
correct.
new engine in his kit. I had to put this thing back together with packing tape. How's my approach?
A little higher, Skipper.
Gotcha. Oh my gosh. It'll look good. Any wind I don't know about?
Sky's clear, Skipper. Hit the runway early and you'll run out of room.
Oh my god.
After that, lame duck out. Damn it.
So Nick isn't back, so who's gonna be Diana? Should I do it?
I'm back.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Just in time.
Okay, where are we?
Page 28.
27. What's
28,
wrong?
28.
Oh,
Okay, so,
yeah.
came back literally right on time. Okay, what's wrong?
He called me Skipper.
Where the fuck are we? What does that mean?
Trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Like
my
Gilligan
God.
Darling.
Oh, this scene is so great.
The lame duck touches down, and as it passes, we hold on two men in foreground, cradling automatic rifles. Soldiers. As the plane comes to a stop, we've also see our crew. Ben,
Mizamane.
Mizamane?
Mizamane.
Mizamane.
Yeah, Mizamane.
Okay,
Mizamane.
Dr. Moira Sullivan and
Oh,
Griffin
Moira's
Thiel.
Irish, isn't she?
Probably.
Can I be her?
Yeah, the name's Sullivan. Go for it. Ben is dark-skinned. See, I knew it. Dignified
Oh, wow.
and dryly witty.
Dignified what? What does he mean
Dignified, what's
dignified?
that mean? I don't like the way you use dark skin.
Damn.
For real. The diplomat of the bunch. Sully is Irish. Red hair, a bright contrast to Diana's. Brusque. See, they're two different women, to be clear. Very different.
Sully isn't
Brusque.
hot.
Sully isn't. That's how you know. She's a doctor. She couldn't have become a doctor if she was hot. Brusque and efficient, but warm to the core. Griffin, the mechanic, looks like he should be on a surfboard, and probably often is.
Oh,
and
can I
also
please be Griffin? I can do a great surfer voice.
You got Griffin. Alright.
Why is Whedon, why is Whedon telling us their character traits instead of showing? Like, dang. And Amber is backing us up with the dark skin thing. Amber says he is dark skinned, so he had to call him dignified to not be racist. Being dark skinned is not bad, okay? You gotta be
It's
like,
not-
oh, person's black, but don't worry, they're dignified. Like, shut up.
He's black, don't worry, but he's smart too.
Yeah.
Black and totally not a minstrel, I promise. This is not a minstrel character. Oh my god. Alright. They emerge from their little tenplex, looking various shades of concerned. Angle on Major Milan. Oh, I can't read it. There's shit in there.
Goshnak. It's
Goshnak?
Goshnak.
Like an orc? Alright, Goshnak.
It is an orc name, isn't it?
Goshnak. It is. That's an orc name.
He's a warlord, too.
The cause of all their concern. The soldier's leader. He is every inch the petty warlord. Oh man, he's just an orc. I'm picturing him as an orc now. He's a big fucking orc. Alright. Steve finishes the approach and hops out of his seat, urging Diana away from the window.
Now look, you stay here, no matter what. You stay here and stay hidden. You got it? You're not ready to deal with these people. No offense. Stay.
Can you even not be condescending for
God.
one fucking second?
Can
He's
you
so
not talk to
condescending all
Diana
the
like she's a
time.
fucking dog? Please?
Yeah.
Alright.
He exits and she watches him through the window as Sully and Ben come to greet him. Goshnak approaching from a distance.
Alright.
Ben, Sully.
Where the hell have you been? Hold on. Where the hell have you been?
Funny story, but with poignant moments and a twist ending. And oh, hello, Major Goshnak.
Who wants to be Goshnak?
Here, I can
Warning,
be,
this guy curses a
I
lot.
can be gosh. You haven't been fair with us, Mr. Trevor.
My apologies. I had to do repairs on the plane. I barely made it.
My men have been here 2 extra days providing protection for your people. And this vessel is very much bigger than you indicated. Very conspicuous.
Everything's
This
on
is how
your list.
Joss insert himself into the script to explain how brilliant it is.
Everything's on your list, nothing more. Except a few personal items, gifts to you for the safe landing.
I'm sure we can work out some kind of compensation for the delay as well.
You have no idea what it cost me to keep my men out of the field.
We told you we didn't need to stay.
You're very naive, Doctor. Without my men to guard you, your precious refugees would have turned on you.
They're still families, Goshnak, and they're starving.
Oh my God,
We're
that was
grateful
great.
for everything. We're grateful for everything you've done.
And what is your gratitude? A few paltry bribes?
They're not paltry. These are quality bribes.
I am at war. I need what is on that plane.
I am at. Wait a minute. Of course, a percentage of.
All of it! It is mine!
Remember when this used to be about Wonder Woman?
Yeah, she's on the plane in the background. Like, the heck?
The group hesitates, realizing how bad this is getting. The whole script. They're all like, should we continue?
Oh my god.
This movie ends.
That's
It's a good time.
Maybe we should back up. What we're all thinking.
Maybe I leave you your plane, huh?
He shouts something. He shouts something to his men, who come forward and then stop, guns raised. Steve and the others turn to see that Diana is in the doorway. She looks around her. Steve grimaces. Sully and Ben look as curious as Goshnak.
My gosh. That is a quality bribe.
Jesus fucking Christ. That just happened. He was like, the lady said it, it's fine.
He trafficked somebody. That's the implication here. Amber
Yep,
says
he had a woman
he
say
had
that.
to have a woman say that.
Jesus fuck. Alright, Diana. Diana, she lowers herself, her bare foot heading for the dirt. Her foot as it touches the ground. The moment it does, the trees blow suddenly with a whistling wind. The
Listen to
mountains,
this. Oh my god.
as the same effect ripples through the dense trees as far as the eye can see.
Is this
a
Pocahontas now?
sailboat on the ocean suddenly puffed of sail. A city seen from ground level as a piece of newspaper whips on the ground, arcing. A dark room.
Is she literally God? Amber says it's been 2 pages and Diana hasn't said anything. Oh my god.
A dark room where a figure in close with his back to us turns slightly, hearing something no one else can. The figure is hard to see, but clearly big and not quite human. Back on the airstrip, the argument continues.
Who is this? You said nothing of a girl.
Steve?
She's a friend. She's not staying here.
And what are you doing here? Who are you? What are you doing here? These people have work to do. Why are you hindering them?
Diana, this is not...
All the girls on that plane are mine! No they're not. Do you dare to question my authority? Authority that cannot be questioned should look for a different name.
Goshnak pulls his pistol, aims it at Diana's chest. Steve tries to step between, but more soldiers cock their rifles.
Alright, let's be cool.
Oh god.
It happened.
No, I can't. I can't.
It happened.
No. This
You
next
bring
line,
this
I
whore
can't.
to insult me?
There you go. Cheesy.
There you go.
I didn't say it. For the record, I never said
Don't worry. Don't worry.
It's
Don't worry.
fine.
I can take the criticism.
It's fine.
Joss wrote it. We didn't do shit.
Yeah.
That's what I was
so-
like. I forewarned. I was like, be careful. This guy curses. Like, he says things.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's an issue with you, Nick, I can go for you if you want.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
What did you say?
Diana, shut up. Nobody's insulting you.
I should put you all down like rabid dogs.
It's gonna be fine.
If you want to challenge me, then be man enough to...
Diana just said, be man enough.
How
Oh
does
my
she...
God,
why did
can
she
you
say that?
believe it? He
Why
shoots
did
her in
he
the
say
chest. She spins slightly with the force of it, and everything else freezes, even Goshnek. She puts her hand to her chest.
Did he just splooge all over her?
Wait a minute. Isn't that like
Justice League? Over her hand. She drops to her knees. Sully and Steve move to her, but the soldiers all cock and point.
Oh.
Take the plane. Take everything, please. Just let us help her.
Diana is on her hands and knees, and a lovely gurg. It's very not sexy, you guys. She just went unsexy on us. ugly pain. An unlovely gurgle in her breath. She pushes
how could
hard.
a gurgle be lovely? Like, if it was
gorgeous.
A baby.
It's like sexy gurgle, like when you...
Ew.
just sexy.
Please don't.
Choking
please
on...
don't go into detail.
Implements.
Oh, God. It's weird to hear... It'll be weird to see Diana do that.
It's fucked up. She pushes hard on the unseen wound a few moments, and she wrenches her hand from her chest, rearing back to her knees. In her bloody hand, she holds the... What the fuck? She pulled a bullet out of her chest. That happened. She's holding the bullet. She stares at it, standing shakily up. Goshnak backs off a step, freaked. She holds the bullet up to him, furious confusion in her eyes. She looks at Steve.
Are you people insane?
And down she goes, face first.
What kind of line is that, by the way? Like, so weak? Just like, what?
So wait, the bullet did affect her?
She was shot in some capacity, it seems.
I don't know, the way you described it made it sound like he just splooged all over her.
It's just, the gun actually shot blood. It just like, blood all over her.
Okay, so what I don't understand is that, like, see...
He like, took her powers, I think. Like, he was like, if you go to the patriarchy, then you have to, like, not have Wonder Woman's powers, which, like, misses the entire point of Wonder Woman, like, the whole entire point.
Yeah,
because
so, like, I don't... Yeah, because that doesn't make sense. Like, because she got shot, she took the bullet out, then she clearly stood up just to say, "Are you people insane?" And then all of a sudden she falls, like, face first into the ground.
Nosedived. She just nosedived.
Like,
she just smashed into the ground. Just...
Jeez.
I don't even know.
I need alcohol for this.
Is this getting... it's not going to get better.
Like, dang.
I mean, it's real early in the script to throw the W word around. Like, good lord. Alright.
Is this when we call her a B word later?
Yeah, definitely. Bunches of times. Gateway City, night. The first thing is...
Gateway to the patriarchy.
The first thing we see is the tower. Spearhead Technologies.
Tower of Manliness?
Oh yeah, the big old tower. The gleaming tower. It's gleaming blackly in the night. The tower dwarfs everything around it.
Black.
Even the other massive downtown buildings cannot compete and does resemble the head of a sphere.
The manliest tower of all time.
Ah, this is the most manly tower. Oh, it's the most phallic tower of all.
Amber says at this point, Diana and Steve are having a fun conversation on the boat in Jenkins' movie. I missed that.
We armed down, and the city rises up before us.
Armed what?
Gateway City is massive, great, eclectic towers sitting on sloping hills. The poorer section is not unlike a rundown version of San Francisco's Chinatown. Crumbling and unsafe. Well, this is so rude to Chinatown. Chinatown's fine, you dick.
Why Chinatown?
It's crumbling and unsafe, but with splashes of color and bohemian... Oh my god, you can't control yourself. Bohemian charm.
Oh, bohemian charm.
Oh, Jesus fuck. The camera continues down through the street into the empty subway station. Then even further down, we're underground now, into the tunnel under the city at the night.
Wait, hold on. I gotta ask. So, like, what time period does this take place?
I think it's
Now?
modern day.
I mean,
Like, I think-
2006.
yeah, I
right?
think it's 2006. Yeah.
Oh. Ew.
Yeah, that explains like Steve's weird colloquialisms because he uses the word cool like an inordinate number of times. Like it's too many for that to be normal. It's big, dark, and decrepit. Old tracks run off into the darkness of unused tunnels. Ladders and sewer pipes run up from it. Like he's just basically inserting Angel, the series, into this, which like I guess. Stretch your dollar, sir, but Jesus Christ. Alright. It is, in every sense, a low place. It's literally low, dude. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
He's trying to be cute and funny or something.
It's really funny. Climbing down a ladder is Jeff. Oh, Jeff, with a PH.
Who the fuck is Jeff?
It's Jeff. An older homeless man and a young woman, Ginny Wells. Ginny gets a last name. Smartly but practically dressed.
What?
Who wants to be Jeff?
I'll be Jeff.
Alright.
I'll take Ginny.
Alright.
Okay. People think it's just stories, but I'm trying to scare them. That I'm hits his head. It's not. Oh, hits his head on what? Oh my god!
It's his head.
He physically
No,
reaches out and punches himself in the face.
It's like, it's not a working system. It's not viable. And you gotta mutter it, like you gotta like groggly voice or something. I don't know.
He's homeless.
Not a working-
He's obviously going to be really unreliable.
It's not a working system, not viable. But Ruse knows all about it. Ruse has made his mark.
That's Victor Ruiz, right? They said he left the shelter. I saw some of his work.
He ain't here. Ain't been down here since he finished. There's none of us now. Even the rats are moving up. Guess that's what it wants.
Well, who wants?
You're not a reporter, are you?
Yes, I told you that. That's why you brought me here. You have something to show me.
Oh, so this is like Lois Lane.
But she's not a reporter.
Oh,
Or
she's not a
lying
reporter.
that she's not a reporter. I don't remember what she is.
All we know is that she's Jenny
Oh.
Wells.
Okay.
Nah,
very
she
well.
might die in a minute anyway, so. He leads her into the chamber, holding a hand to stop her.
So, you go down, it gets you.
Quizzically, she looks down to see holes in the floor, eaten away metal, rusted beams, sheets of old wood looking down at an even lower place. She steps carefully towards the wall. Jeff stands below. Then she pops a flare and holds it up. She stares. Drop back wide to see her before a half graffiti, half American primitive mural depicting a figure in armor on a horse stabbing a giant dragon. Behind them, towers crumble and burn. It's eerie and awkward and very beautiful.
You think he was describing a woman, honestly.
And eerie and awkward and very beautiful. Alright.
St. George and the Dragon. This is just like the drawings. Why did he...
A low rumbling becomes noticeable. Jenny looks up,
Train's coming.
but Jeff just shakes his head and points down. Jenny stares at the holes beneath her feet as the rumbling grows louder. The space below grows lighter, but not from the harsh beams of the train. The light is red, flickering, and the space appears to be carved out of the earth. A moment, and it roars beneath us. Visible only in flickers. Metal, yes, but with a mouthful of fire and an undulate, rippled body that ripped. He's really fucking just jacked. Just absolutely monstrous. Rippled body that shoots through the tunnel as fast as a train, screeching unlike anything.
Amber says, to be honest, I'm starting to write a script and this mediocrity has fueled me with creativity. At least I won't write something as bad as this.
My God.
The white, deformed face with the bright red teeth and carved metal skull cap appears right next to hers, grinning horrifically. That's Strife. We don't know who Strife is yet.
Who the fuck is?
Alright.
Jeez.
He's a villain, I think. Strife is actually literally what Diana is fighting with. Like, Joss is this uncreative. He's like, you know what she should come up against? Fucking Strife. The concept of Strife, who is also a shitty demon that I pulled directly out of Angel the series. That's exactly what's happening in this fucking script.
Strife was never in the comics.
I don't think so.
Let me fact check this.
I've never heard of Strife. Strife seems like an invention.
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Yeah, go look
Hold on. Apparently there's like a female version of Strife.
Oh.
The only thing I can find is from Marvel.
Yeah, I got Ares.
Ares is the goddess of strife and chaos, and is the creator of the Golden Apple of Discourse.
So Ares.
Is that?
She was in Wonder Woman.
Ares is definitely not in this
Eris,
film, though.
E-R-I. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
It
Eris,
says her
okay.
debut was in Wonder Woman V2 number 121, May 1997.
I'm confused, but this is definitely a male character.
This is created by John Byrne and Nick Hardy.
Did he gender bend a Wonder Woman villain to be a dude? Because that's wild.
This thing says that when Queen Hippolyta agreed to open her country of Themyscira to the outside world, Eris used the Golden Apples of Discord to make the various United Nations dignitaries fight among one another. Wonder Woman was able to defeat Eris, but the event caused a negative outlook to the Amazons by the outsiders, and Eris thus stayed on her side despite and Eris's plans thus stayed on her side despite her defeat. And then spoilers, I guess, for other comics, and I'm not going to get into that. It says, in the New 52, Eris has been redesigned and is mostly referred to as Strife.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's still a lady villain.
And apparently she's Wonder Woman's half-sister through Zeus.
That's very cool.
Post Flashpoint, Strife is Wonder Woman's half-sister through Zeus. She's sarcastic, venomous, and a drinker, though both Diana and Hermes consider her mentality like that of a spiteful child. According to Diana, Strife has most often been seen in the company of her brother Ares, as war and violence often follows discord.
So female.
So we replaced like the Greek gods with like a bunch of like lesser concepts. Like I'm very proud. I can't get into Wonder Woman comic discourse. I can't. I'll start and I'll never stop.
Alright,
That's
so
happening anyway. Who's Strife? Strife has to have a big booming voice because he is definitely a jacked male.
I was gonna say, Danielle, that should be you.
A female character. Me?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, why not?
Alright.
Yay!
No! Not yours.
Perfect.
She tries to scream, but he grabs her throat. We get a better look at Strife now. He's big, muscled, metal bands around his arms, a black cape rippling in the wind from below. Helmet, or is that his head? Of bright silver. As we see him from head to toe, we see what Ginny sees just then. Jeff's body hunched over, head lying a few feet away.
Amber says just casual violence against women in a Wonder Woman script. Lovely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Who's Ginny?
Nick?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm a reporter. People know where I am. They'll be looking for me.
Let them. He pushes her away and she falls into the hole screaming as whatever's passing underneath rips her unseen to bits. Nice. Fuck you.
Wait,
For a moment.
so Jenny is a reporter, so I feel like this is Joss's fuck you to Lois.
Oh yeah, if he can kill Lois in a script, he's absolutely going to.
Oh yeah, so he
God,
can
I
kill
cannot
Lois,
believe
but when
we
Zach
didn't
killed
dodge
Jimmy-
a bullet. Sorry, Al. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, so if Joss killed Lois, everyone would be fine with it, but when, Zach killed Jimmy in BVS, people acted like it was the biggest deal.
Damn.
Of course. Well, he's an insignificant male character.
I mean, who really cares
He's
about
precious
Jimmy?
to us.
I mean, I think he's a fun character, but he's not necessary to like the stories Zach was trying to tell. So
Yeah.
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 And
All right.
like, can I say? What was I gonna say? Hold on. Oh yeah. We didn't dodge a bullet with the Whedon Supergirl script. No, it was a Batgirl. Sorry, it was Batgirl. We dodged like
God.
a freaking torpedo. Like we dodged a massive bomb.
It would have been, oh god. They should have let him have it long enough to produce one of these scripts again to give us a sequel. Like,
Dude, there's
come on.
probably like 1 page of notes, and it's probably
keep us in business. Like, this is what I'm saying, is keep the podcast going by continuing to hire Joss for 5 minutes, letting him write a script, and then telling him to fuck off because his script is so bad. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Get paid for thing.
Nah, probably not. It's alright. Alright, for a moment, Strife stands alone. He looks up at the mural, ignoring the grinding and screams, because he's a badass. Near the runway...
He doesn't look at explosions or whatever.
No, no one does.
Explosions.
Not if you're cool. Near the runway is a cluster of tents, our base camp. Steve and Ben... Whoa, we just, like, ran across the fucking world.
Yeah.
We're at the plane again. We're at the runway, and we're at a cluster of tents, which are our base camp. Steve and Ben wait outside one tent. Griffin approaches.
All right. So is Griffin? Wait, Griffin's the
Griffin
surfer guy, right?
Yeah, Surfer Dude.
Griffin's the
Surfer Dude.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. All right. So is she gonna make it?
Bro.
Steve,
Is she gonna
shrugs.
make it, bruh?
Oh, Steve shrugs.
All right. Hold on. Stella kid to the south. A lot of blood. Where on the green earth did it find her boss? Like, I can't believe Goshnak. Who the hell shoots an unarmed, tasty-looking girl, bruh?
Oh my god.
God, tasty-looking girl. Oh my god.
I'm gonna cry.
Amber is equally as horrified with the "oh god" in all caps. It's terrifying.
All right, hold on. I gotta switch between voices here.
You're everybody.
All right. The same man who steals medicine from dying children.
The flap opens, and Sully steps out. By the set of her jaw, we know she's not happy. Steve stands.
There's nothing more I can do.
Who's Steve?
Gene.
We lost Steve again.
Gene,
Wake
where
up,
are
Gene!
you?
Wake up!
Gene, we need you, please.
She's in a better place.
Oh, Jesus. It's 3 a.m. over there, isn't it?
Alright,
Diana almost died, so Steve cares about her, says Amber. Steve hates her so much. Like, dang, it's
Big
crazy.
time. Like, you
He
don't
hates-
act like that if you don't hate someone.
Yeah, he
Josh
hates
wouldn't
her more
know.
than anything.
You know that he had an entire season of a series where basically the main character calls his love interest a dirty whore every single episode.
What
So,
show
like,
was it?
I don't know what to tell you. Firefly.
oh,
How many
geez.
seasons did that show have?
Every single episode he calls her a whore.
Why? Because
Um,
she's cheating on him, or because he just
Cause
doesn't have any...
she's a sex worker, and like he just has decided that he's just going to remind her that he doesn't respect her profession every single episode.
Well, he
It's
can
wild.
screw himself.
And it's like he's supposed to like her. Like this is the big ship of the series. Like it's the biggest ship. Everybody's like, yeah, Malin and Nara, and I'm like, he's a fucking dickhead who's never been nice to her for 20 seconds, including when they all thought they were going to die. Ugh.
Amber says it's more Joss hates Diana.
He definitely does. Yeah, I'd agree
Yeah.
with that.
Alright,
How do we get? What do we do about Steve?
Jean, are you back yet?
I think she's asleep.
She's got a right to be.
Okay.
Okay.
Should
I mean, I mean, I would do it, but then there's dialogue between Steve and Diana, so that would be like a little confusing. So.
I guess I'll be Steve.
Alright.
Alright, to your best, Nathan and Killian, go.
I haven't seen him enough to do that, okay? What do you mean there's...
Diana strides out of the tent, passing them all without comment. Sully gestures. I think Sully's gesturing with words. That's what I mean. Steve follows Diana as she heads briskly for the plane.
What are you doing up?
I was unconscious. How long?
About 6 hours? You shouldn't be...
6 hours? Goddess.
Hey, stop.
What?
She does.
Stop what?
And he looks at her shoulder. There's a small scar there, but by daybreak there won't be.
You're healed.
Yes, after hours. It's degrading to be felled by a tiny piece of metal. I didn't know something could hurt that much.
Welcome to the world. The world, please. Shut up. Like, you don't have paint on the mascara?
No. She starts walking again.
I have to get started.
Doing what?
The supplies. Are they still on the plane?
They took them up to camp. It's in the hills, about 2 miles up. What do you think you're gonna do?
Get them back.
As she almost reaches the plane, a guard steps out with his rifle pointed forward.
No one goes near the...
Without breaking stride, Diana grabs the barrel of the rifle and swings the guard behind her, keeping hold of the rifle as he goes flying 20 feet and lands with a thud. She examines the rifle as she ducks under the front of the plane, Steve still trailing.
So, what are you gonna do? So, what? You're gonna go up there and kill all those guys?
I will kill a warrior on a battlefield. Nobody who hides behind one of these is a warrior.
She tosses it aside and hops up into the plane. Steve is following her when he sees she's disrobing in the dark, with her back to him.
Oh,
us.
God.
Just so you know, we can't
She's
see
getting
anything,
naked.
guys.
It's
This
time.
is Iron Man 2.
So he hovers just outside.
Yeah, they're called soldiers, and there's about 30 of them, and they all got hundreds of little pieces of metal that hurt a lot, and grenades, and a whole combo platter of things you've never even heard of. So, let's go to Plan B, in which you don't get yourself and the rest of us killed.
You won't be fighting.
That's not the point. You're gonna start a freaking firefight. These people are not. Diana, they shoot you for talking.
She steps into the doorway and he moves back. He's at ground level looking up at her. She's in the outfit.
I have no
Yeah,
plans
The outfit.
The outfit!
Amber
You know
says
the
he
one.
is establishing that Diana won't actually kill anyone.
It's very important.
Because not a Wonder Woman or something. I don't know.
Not my Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman would find another way.
Always.
Why didn't she just fly away from the city?
I have
The
no
treetops-
plans to talk.
Oh, go for it.
I have no
The
plans.
treetops.
Oh. Alright, go ahead.
Alright, you now. Go.
Okay. I have no plans to talk because Josh makes Steve more important in my own story than me.
Yeah, true.
Diana doesn't talk, you fools. She only punches.
And looks hot in her white tunics.
Mostly hot. The treetops pass below us as we sweep up the hill to see the camp nestled. God, he's just got like a hard-on for nature. I'm real
Nestled
bored.
in them.
Oh my God! How much? Look how much you have to read here.
A big tent for the men, a makeshift metal shack for Goshnak, a couple of
Goshnak
jeeps with-
isn't a man, he's an orc.
He's an orc, I'm telling you. A couple of jeeps with machine gun mounts and a transport truck. Almost everyone is asleep, but about 6 guys standing guard on the camp itself. Diana peers out of the woods. The truck is nearest, right by the slope, down toward the wood. Beyond is the tent. To the left is Goshnak's shack. The jeeps are not visible from here, and only 4 of the 6 guards, 3 by the truck, 1 in front of the shack. She looks around the ground, picks up 2 stones that fit nicely in her palms. She tosses one high. The 3 guards by the truck hear a rustling as the stone lands in the brush beyond them. They move towards it. Jesus, come on. All right.
Wow, stealthy.
The guards by the shack watches them. I'm just exhausted. This is the stupidest scene. The second stone nails him in the head, and he ragdolls to the ground soundlessly. Look at this. Look at this no-kill approach with fucking pebbles. Pebbles.
Superman should take notes.
For real, Superman. Get yourself a pocket full of pebbles. Or just find them on the ground. They're handy. As Diana leaps into the midst of the men, the truck is between us and them, but the camera inches under, watching feet going as Diana... Okay, so literally we're saving money on choreography here, because we don't get to see the fight. Diana spins and
the only
kicks.
thing she gets to do is fight.
I guess. The soldier hits the ground as the camera creeps under the undercarriage, and another hits the truck coming up between her fucking skirt again. Makes it shake inches above our heads as we finally see the third come down with a boot on his throat. And the camera clears the undercarriage to look up at Diana from under her fucking skirt, standing over her combatants. Extreme low angle. Every inch a hero.
That entire sequence confused the hell out of me.
The camera looked at the truck while the action was happening. Then it slid under the truck so we could see the bottom of the action. And then once everything was finished, we shot up from under the truck. So inescapable panty shot to look at her from a heroic angle as she stands on the neck of some man.
Wait. Okay. All right.
That's what I'm seeing.
I'm trying to wrap my head around how that would look. And
bad.
All I can take... Yeah, bad, of course, but like... Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna go on from there.
It's a mess. Alright, we see 20 soldiers inside, sleeping in cots in 2 rows, one nearest the flappers, noise off, Is anything gonna happen? Alright, let's see. I can't.
Guys, we're only a third of a way through this fucking thing.
Do you want somebody to take over narration for you to like refuel or something?
Oh god, there's nothing happening here. Okay, I'm gonna read it.
Alright.
By the cab stands Diana. She grips the back of the cab, plants her feet wide, and heaves the truck, rolling easily past her. The soldier is thrown as chains attached to the truck to the tent go taut between his legs, coming up and nailing him just before the tent is pulled into him. Did he just
What's happening?
Did he just write a crotch shot into this? Like, I think man just took it. I think that man just took chains to the nuts.
I think so.
While fighting Wonder Woman. I'm pretty sure.
To demasculate him.
Of course, he's fighting a lady, so. The truck rolls down the hill, picking up speed. The entire tent is coming with it, falling in on itself, but still sliding along. The men being thrown and battered, trying to get up or out, suddenly tipping as the tent is pulled down the hill violently by the barreling truck. Diana breaks for the shack, and the jeep with the remaining 2 soldiers lights her up with its high beams as it roars at her. Inside, one drives while the other scrambles back for the mounted machine gun. Diana runs at it into the hood and body slams the guy in the back right off, instantly turning and getting her shoulder under the gun while gripping the barrel. A moment's strain and it rips out of its moorings, and she sledgehammers it into the driver, crushing the windshield, most of the seat, as he jellyfishes to the floor to avoid being crunched.
Wait a minute.
Never heard of the phrase jellyfishing.
These guys are really good at not being killed by Wonder Woman. They did a good job.
So this is where the wannabe film guy in me wants to ask, what is the point of this fight? Like, most fight scenes have a point. I think
he's actually just establishing that Wonder Woman fights good. Like, I think that's all that's happening. It's pretty...
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I don't think there's any other reason.
Yeah, but like in the Wonder Woman movie with Patty Jenkins, we don't actually see Wonder Woman really display her fighting until like the war. And for that one, it makes sense because it's war. This, it just seems, look at Diana do all this crazy stuff because she's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, restraint is important. You can't just have scenes without reason. Like, it's an action movie, but there has to be a point to it.
Well, I also think that Joss uses one of those like templates where like basically he lays his script on top of like a general action template and then just lines up the action beats and lines up the comedic beats where they need to be. And I think that like the only reason that this action scene exists is because he's literally just like, oh, the template says insert action beat here.
Yeah, I mean, like, there are some action movies where it makes sense to, like, not really have a reason to do a scene, but this is a superhero movie, so there's supposed to be, like, a message, etc., etc., It's not like Die Hard or John Wick or something where it doesn't matter, like, we're gonna fight. Like, this is a superhero movie. There's supposed to be some sort of, like, message, and you're supposed to be saying something with the fighting scenes, Amber says, but there is also the training montage at the beginning of the movie, though.
Well, that wasn't really much fighting. That was more like a small demonstration.
Yeah.
So it did have a purpose to show how much she's trained, and we get to the point where she clashes her bracelets. That's like the tip off to show just how powerful she's gotten over the years.
Yeah, and like foreshadowing to the whole God Killer and everything.
She doesn't need to steamroll a bunch of soldiers in order to establish that she actually has skills and that she's a good fighter, unless you're like a misogynist who really cannot, like, continues to not be able to buy that Wonder Woman could kick people's asses because she's a lady. Like, that's the only thing I could, like, it's just continually being like, isn't this surprising that this lady can kick this whole soldier camp's ass? And
by the way,
Rambo is never not done. There's nothing Indiana Jones can't freaking do. And he's not even good at fighting.
By the way, you guys, speaking of like Wonder Woman, just like bad portrayals of her, like we should do like an Injustice Bitter Geeks or something sometime.
Oh God.
I didn't play the game. I watched the cutscenes for the first one. I haven't watched the second one cutscenes yet. But like,
the second one's worse.
That just like ticked me off, and like we need to talk about it. So
it's like you guys all have a conversation with me just weeping in the background.
I played Injustice 2 like from beginning to end. Oh my God, what they do to Wonder Woman is just
horrible.
What they did to her in the first one ticked me off already. I'm excited to see what the second
at least with the first one, you had the balance of like, oh, you had the shitty Wonder Woman and the actual Wonder Woman. So like you see, so you're like, okay, so it's just like bad Wonder Woman versus good
like
one.
That. Like, dang, son, like,
but
really?
like,
okay. Also, let me tell you why I'm fine with evil Clark in DCEU and not so much with evil Clark in Injustice. Like, evil Clark in Injustice doesn't bother me because I'm like, whatever. Like, it's fan fiction based. Like, everything is fan fiction. Like there's no like, it's so crazy. It's like, okay, somebody just said what if and it happened. But like in the DCEU, you can say Darkseid made him do it because clearly Darkseid rules the Earth.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah, also, rather than just Clark became evil of his own volition. In the DCEU,
this is the thing, is that most fanboys really believe that. Most fanboys actually think that like that Clark's just like an inch from evil 24/7, and that one day if he just has like a bad fucking day, he's gonna conquer the world. And that's what's interesting about him.
It's funny because people don't say that about Diana, even though she's hella powerful and descended from Zeus. Nobody says, "Oh, Diana." They don't say, "Oh, Diana is a second away from becoming an evil overlord." Like,
and honestly, Diana has better reasons. Like, if she took over the planet, it would probably be a change for the better because she would fucking abolish the patriarchy at long last. Like, she would actually do something that mattered versus like. Clark's shit is always like bland authoritarianism and some fascism sprinkled over the top. Like, it's boring and stupid.
Yeah.
At least if Diana took over the planet, it would be like, are we mad about this? Like, is everyone like we all get to do whatever we want with gender? That's kind of fucking awesome. I don't know. Am I mad that Diana is the leader of us, even though we didn't elect her? I mean, is it hypocritical? We need to have a nuanced discussion about it.
Well, here's I want to say this too. Like, I think like it finally hit me recently why I didn't like Superman like at all in the Justice League series, both of them. Is that like it was the mentality of like he is like one bad day away from being a fucking tyrant. And I'm like, that's not Superman. Like, Superman, the animated series, Superman, and the Justice League one are two completely different characters. Like,
He's the most powerful dude on the planet. If he wanted to, if he was like an inch away from taking over the world, he would have done it by now. Like, nothing's gonna stop you if you're like an essentially that kind of person. Like, also, that's boring because that's what most people would do with the power. Like, what's interesting about Clark is that he doesn't. What's interesting about Clark is that he is that altruistic. Like, you're missing the point of the character. The point of the character is actually subverting that idea. And for people to come across and be like, oh, well, everybody just thinks that this is the way the story should be. Like, no one thinks this is the way the story should be. The reason Jerry and Joe wrote him in the first place was because everybody was like, great power, you know, like, power corrupts, absolutely. And they were like, what if power didn't corrupt? Like, literally, it's a subversion of an idea.
That's the point. Honestly, Injustice doesn't bother me, like, for the most part, but the Wonder Woman stuff bothers me.
Yeah.
I don't get worked up about Injustice. I'm like, whatever, you know.
Yeah, I can't play the Injustice story because the way they do Superman in the Injustice series is just so terrible. Like, it's so bad.
It's also like an excuse for the writers to put like really terrible, horrifying things.
Yeah, like Superman killed Shazam.
In heroes' mouths. Like, it's not even like the things that they say in it. It's just like, you just wanted an excuse to say that, so you wrote this hero as a villain so you could get them to finally say that. Like, they said all sorts of racist shit to Cyborg, and I was like, I can't. I'm done. I'm out. Like,
Where?
I can't
Which one?
anymore. It was horrifying. I don't even remember.
Was it in the comics or was it in the game?
It was in the game. I played the game
With
for
the
about
first
30.
one?
Yeah, I'm assuming so because I played the game for about 30 seconds before I was like, oh nope, I've reached my limit of revulsion. It was
was over my head.
Wait, was it the first one or the second one?
I think it was the first one.
I don't remember anything like that. I don't remember that happening in the first one, but maybe like I said, maybe it flew over my head. I'm not sure. Amber says it's a fighting game either way. The story isn't supposed to be deep. Question: how's the gameplay? Is it fun? Is it good to play?
The gameplay is fun. I can say that. The gameplay is fun. It's just the story.
Don't come to a video game for that is the problem. Like, that's just me. Like, I just don't come to a video game for that. I come for the story entirely.
Same.
So I'm watching it and I'm just horrified. Like, I don't, like, that's the thing, is that, like, you know, like, I'm the World of Warcraft player who's, like, it's really political, and you really have to, like, understand the reasons that Sylvanas is the way that Sylvanas is. Like, that's me. So I can't even, like, that's the thing, is I'm never going to enjoy Injustice for what it is, because it's not meant for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's meant, people who like story probably need to go somewhere else.
I mean, I thought like
RPG and sorry.
Yes.
I mean, I don't hate the Injustice storyline as a whole, but what they do in certain instances of the quote unquote story really fucking bother me, like Wonder Woman and several other things.
Yeah, like I can say this much for Injustice. Like, there's some elements that are really shitty, like different characters dying for no reason whatsoever. But then there are these like weird moments in Injustice that are so like out there, like Killer Croc is marrying this whale lady and she's pregnant. And
Is
then
this the
there's
second
like
one?
this is the second comics, the comic series. And then there's like Superman revealed that Bruce Wayne was Batman via Twitter. And then there's just a lot of weird stuff.
Superman is passively aggressively tweeting at great length. It's excellent. Thank God, finally. We need him. We need that Midwestern salt on the internet.
And one thing that really made me angry was the treatment of Damian. They made Damian such a horrible character.
Damian. God.
They make him like a little spoiled brat. It's just...
Like, yeah, Damien is a spoiled brat, but like he gets better as time goes on. But
yeah, but they'll just keep resetting him is the thing. Like, that's the problem with Damien, essentially, is they're just going to be like, oh, well, Damien's like this. And it's like, no, like, Damien was like this when he started. And he has, like, a freaking actual forward progression, especially since he's, like, what, 13 now? He's a little kid.
Oh, yeah. In the game, he's, like, in his 20s.
Oh, okay.
And he's still a spoiled brat.
And he killed Dick.
Oh yeah, and he killed Dick in the most dumbest way possible.
But like accidentally, right? Dick's head hit a rock or something. It's hilarious.
Yeah, basically like Damien threw one of Nightwing's sticks at Dick, and the stick hit him in the back of the head, and then Dick fell unconscious, and his neck literally hit a rock, and then he died.
Sorry, your firstborn's an idiot. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's real bad. Like, oh no. I love you, Dick, but wow.
Oh, jeez.
And that's just bad writing. Like, if you like, it's just... Yeah, well, we really got off track here.
I mean...
Wonder Woman is kicking some ass right now. She's about to have an encounter with a gun.
Okay, but one thing I gotta say though is like you were like reading all of this action scene. Reading an action scene is so fucking boring.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
Like
almost as bad as potentially watching this shit. Nah, more bad.
Okay,
I mean, that book, unless you're reading a whole novel and there's an action scene in the novel, you know.
I don't even write action scenes, to be totally frank.
I tried writing.
I've never written an action scene, and I don't think I ever will.
Oh, I've written like action scenes, and I've always learned that like the most important thing in writing action scenes is that you can't like be extremely descriptive as to what's happening.
Like this,
like throughout this entire script, he's like going completely into detail about every single aspect that happens in the fight. When in actuality, you could just like make it as small as possible. Instead of saying Diana breaks this and then goes this way to break that, just say Diana, pushes herself through and destroys the trucks in her path and stuff like that.
Yeah. Go, like, and it's funny because even when he's not giving like minute details, he's questioning. He's like, "Is the sky blue today? Who knows?"
He's like building like his weird like subversion of expectation into the script. Like he's like, you'll be confused for a second, but then you'll figure out what's going on, and it will be awesome. You're gonna be so mystified by my trickiness.
I cannot believe this is the man that the template of the MCU is built off of. Like, they really did that. Like, you couldn't just let him do his 2 movies and then move on with your life. Y'all had to like copy his image forever.
Oh no, they have everything. They took the whole thing. It's bad.
Alright, I'd say we'll probably read a few more pages, but I think this is going to have to end up being a 2-parter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because we're only at... Wait, what?
We'd get halfway. I was hoping we'd get halfway, but it looks like we're like, I don't know, we're like 10 pages away from 50.
I think we should finish this scene and then, I mean, unless y'all
Honestly, I forgot where we even were.
We're at Angle Goshnack's... Oh, hold on.
We're on page 39.
39, the Jeep rolls away.
Yeah, she's mad.
Okay. Let's just say that the big fucking stupid action scene goes to the next bit of dialogue.
Yeah. Goshnack shot her. She's mad about it, and she has a line after that. She's grabbing him by the throat after she threw the gun to the ground.
Stop shooting me.
The gun hits the ground, and Diana brings her heel on it with enough force to break it.
This land is not safe for you. The people here are under my protection, and if you even approach them, your death will be appalling. Remember that when you awake. That's so non-threatening. Your death will be appalling.
Disgusting. I won't even lower myself to it. She headbutts him. Her tiara ringing off his forehead like a blunted bell.
Amber says it was sexier in Patty's movie when she broke the rifle with her back, to be honest. Can I tell you how much I love when she broke the rifle with her back? When that trailer came out and I saw that moment, I was like, yes, we are in here. Like,
so much speed ramping, which is exactly what everyone was so pissed off about, but apparently in Wonder Woman it's fine. You can use as much speed ramping as you want, but you can't use it in a Zack Snyder film.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was literally watching that scene as you guys
oh, dude, I love it so much. It's so great.
Like, I love fight scenes, and I pay attention to that, but god damn, it's the way she grabs it, then she turns to, like, backhand the other dude, and then she just breaks it across her back.
Dude, it was so good.
It doesn't even matter to her. Like, it's like an afterthought. Like, oh, this gun's in the way.
And it's so
fluid. Really good.
It's like just pure fluidity in her fighting.
Dude, it's flawless. It's perfect. But apparently Screen Junkies had a problem with it because in
their
honest trailer, they said
Snyder Vision
while showing that scene.
Honestly,
like,
fuck.
It is, though. That's the thing, though.
No,
be honest about it. It's a Snyderism. And it's the reason that it's so fucking great. I'm sorry, he makes awesome action scenes. They're the only kind that I care to watch, and I'm not apologizing for it.
Stay pressed.
And like honestly, that's why one of the reasons I was excited for Man of Steel was because I knew the action scenes were going to be great. Because here's this might be an unpopular opinion. Christopher Nolan does not direct action well.
No.
Yeah, that's not unpopular. That's.
He doesn't do it horribly. Like the action in the Dark Knight series, for the most part, it's not horrible. It's just the fight choreography could be like Batman's fight choreography could be way fucking better.
It's uninspired, I think, is what it is.
Well, in the first movie, it was fine. In the first movie, I thought it was pretty well done. Mm-hmm. And Batman Begins, but as it went on, it was just like, and that was like literally it.
Oh yeah, and The Dark Knight Rises.
No, and even in the Dark Knight too. Like
Dark Knight Rises, fight choreography could have been better. Fight everything could have been better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what like going into like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and even Wonder Woman, like just to actually have like well-directed action sequences.
Yeah.
Like it really makes the movie that much more enjoyable to watch when you're not just like, oh, here we go. Because I know there's always like the one action sequence in a movie that you always want to skip. Because I know for Danielle, it's the Batmobile chase sequence in BVS.
I complain about it even now. We're watching it, and I'll be like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom now.
Honestly, I just count the bodies. I'm just like, that person's dead, that person's dead, that person's dead. Ooh, it's Clark. I love him.
I always get there just in time for the Batmobile to bounce off his fucking shin, and I have to like lay down.
Can we talk about?
So it's so
talk
good.
about the way that the light casts over his figure? Amber says about Wonder Woman scene when she grabs a sword by the tip of it to break the other rifle. Iconic, legendary. This is why the warehouse scene in BVS was so well received, because that's the Batman action we deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is that like in BVS, like we had to earn that scene. You know, like you had like the fight between Superman and Batman, but where you weren't supposed to like be like, oh yeah, fight, dudes punching, yeah. Like
some people. Honestly, I was happy when Clark like body slammed Bruce through that building, because I've been waiting for that my whole life.
There are those two little moments. The one where he puts up his hands. Like,
oh yeah, that's so cute.
Like oh no, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean it.
Clark is smirking like, oh really?
He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, dude.
Honestly, like, it's for me personally, like the fights that I love the most are the ones at the end. Like those are the warehouse scene and the Trinity versus Doomsday. Like that's what I look forward to.
Yeah, and even like the moments with like what Danielle was bringing up, like the moments of Batman, whether it was the holding his hand up or like the moment Doomsday turns around to Batman and he's like, oh shit.
More authentically Batman than the last 6 movies. Like That's my sticking point. Those moments are more authentically Batman than the 6 movies that came before.
And it's just funny, and it's funny. It was in that fear of, obviously he doesn't want to get killed, but like that fear shot of him leads to like that iconic shot of like Batman with the lightning in the background. Like
it's just him trying not to get killed.
I love it. He flung himself off that building into the dirt. Like he was just like, nope.
What a subversion of that shot too, because like that was such like a, it's like the Frank Miller shot. It's like the one that everybody's all the like hardcore like fight Batman toxic masculinity fanboys love so much, and he's just like, no, this is just Batman trying not to get obliterated.
And then the one funny scene too of it was like the panning shot of like, if it was just Superman and Wonder Woman fighting Doomsday, and just Batman just like walking.
Batman hiding behind a rock.
He was hiding in the back.
Yeah, but I love that scene where he's like looking at Diana and Superman fighting this Doomsday, and it like makes you, and it like you can see Bruce's perspective on this, because like he's just a human being who happens to be trained at top physical human level. And it makes you also remember that this is the first time that, this world has ever seen people like this. Like, the first time Batman has ever seen a literal god and an alien fight another giant alien monster. And
Which is beautiful, because so many of these superhero films have become like sort of like tee-hee about like the blasé everydayness of these events. Like one of the things that pissed me off in Infinity War is that like they never let you feel threatened. They never let you feel like there's actual danger happening. Mm-hmm. Because all of the heroes are just like wander into the battle like, oh, is this Tuesday? Yeah. What's happening? Like they're all so bored, and it's like this is supposed to be the fight of your lives. This is supposed to be a huge event, and if you can't be impressed, why do you expect me to be impressed? Like starting at the beginning of the story is really powerful, because it's just Batman being like, I am so out of my depth. Everything's terrible. I'm gonna die. I'm in so much pain right now. And holy crap, there are gods on Earth. Like, it's just a cool moment, because it's like it gives you back that wonder. And I think that's what Snyder wants to do more than anything, is to give you that wonder back. And that's the reason that Joss is such a problem in the genre, is that Joss wants to take it away. Mm-hmm. Joss wants the wonder to feel boring. He wants to take the wonder entirely. And that's absolutely, I think, the opposite goal of superhero movies. Like the original Christopher Reeve Superman movies, like the ones who kicked off the genre, the ones who made the genre possible and viable. The tagline was, "You'll believe a man can fly." Like, it's about wonder. It's about believing. It's about suspension of disbelief. It's about believing in something amazing. And we've lost that entirely. And that's the thing that pissed me off so much about Infinity Wars. I was like, this is such a cynical product. This is a product that just sort of like has no life. It just falls dead in your hands, and it's like, it's heartbreaking. Mm-hmm.
That's why, honestly, like watching Infinity War, Scarlett Johansson couldn't give less of a shit in that movie.
Honestly,
I barely noticed she was there.
No, seriously, like she just like sleepwalked through that movie. Cause, I mean, she knew like, oh, we're just gonna be back for the other one. So I mean, why should I really give a shit?
Nobody gave a shit.
I mean, she didn't. Honestly, in her defense, she didn't have much to work with to like even provide range for us to say, oh, she didn't put effort into that, because they didn't give her anything to put effort into. You know.
I mean, to be honest, I honestly,
was barely in that movie. She got to be mom for a couple seconds, and it was kind of cute, and then she disappeared.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I think her acting has just gotten worse over the last few years. So. I think
it's just gotten worse over the last few years.
And also I just don't like Scarlett Johansson as a person either. So,
I mean, that's a big part of it. It's hard to discuss her without being like, well, I know she's kind of a shit person, so.
I always find it hilarious when like there's like small little updates about the Black Widow movie. I'm like, you're choosing now to get in on this movie when no one wants to see it. Like, especially.
I almost feel like they greenlit the Black Widow movie at that moment because they knew everyone would reject it, and then they'd have an excuse
to not do it.
They'd be like, "Oh, we didn't make a Black Widow movie because that's what nobody wanted it. Everybody said they wanted it, and then they didn't." And I was like, "Yeah, 10 years ago, everybody wanted it. 10 years ago, everyone was gagging for it, and now." Yeah. You're all just sort of, now you have an excuse because you know nobody wants it anymore and its time is long past. Like, you can safely be like, well, we're not making it because there's no demand.
I think that is a terrible excuse because, like, to say that no one wanted a Black Widow movie just feels, I don't know, because, like, I know a lot of people who didn't want an Iron Man movie, but yet that movie happened and it ended up being successful. But I think when it comes right down to it, the only reason that they ever decided to bring up, female-led superhero movies is because Wonder Woman came first and it did good.
Guys, Jean's trying to leave.
There's still dark, guys. It's like 4 a.m. here.
Oh, no, it's okay. We thought you fell asleep a while ago.
We're on page 39. Like, we're almost halfway through. We might as well. Yeah, I think it's a good time to wrap.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I might edit this part out, but what is your guys' availability for the rest of the week?
I'm good any time next week. Wait, I think so.
We can set one up and see how I do, because I'm working overnights, 2 more nights this week, so I'm kind of unpredictable. Later is better, which I know makes it really hard for everyone else.
Honestly, for me, later is better too, because I'm going back to school this week, so...
Well,
if we could do it after 4 p.m. my time, that would be, like, incredible, and I'd be fine, but...
Yeah, I mean, well, unfortunately, I can't... So this week, the only day I'm really free next is Thursday, and it probably... I mean, we can start, like... I mean, maybe, like... If we really, like, actually just read the script and kind of go on from there, I could probably do it later in, like, more afternoon time, your time on Thursday, Danielle?
Okay.
So I can't do Thursday because I'm going to be driving.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Back to college.
Alright, so we're probably next week then.
Okay. Yeah, so right now we're on page, 3940, so we still know
39.
So in that case, I'm not sure if Jean's still here or if she's...
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you guys for joining us for this first portion of our Wonder Woman read and also just rambling. This, honestly, I gotta say, how did Warner Brothers read that and then 10 years later be like, we need him back?
Because Hollywood likes to forget when somebody does something and they're like, oh, well, whatever.
Well, they like to forget when a white dude does it.
No, I think it's because of the Avengers.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing, is that, like, he must have, like, they must have just looked at his Avengers script and been like, well, he must have figured something out in the meantime. I also just wonder if it's not just that he has a draw. Like, people just come to see his movies regardless. Or they did anyway, when he had a following.
Yeah.
It's just these days he doesn't really, so it's bizarre that anybody even hires him.
The only people who who only like him now are, like, white feminist bloggers, pretty much, is all I've noticed.
Yep. And they're the people who are literally able to just dismiss everything that his ex-wife has said about him, and they're garbage. Like they're just like, they're just looking for an excuse. They just love Buffy, and they want to pretend like he and Buffy are the same product. And honestly, I don't know. I've got my doubts about Buffy these days. Like there were some really amazing women working on Buffy that totally got trashed. And totally got the credit taken. Like, Jaina Spenson is brilliant. Marty Noxon is actually the creator of Sharp Objects on the Sharp Objects TV show. And Marty Noxon, we as a fandom, as a Buffy fandom, ripped her apart. And Joss let it happen. Like, we all together where like Marty is everything that's wrong with Buffy. Anything that's wrong with Buffy is Marty's fault. It was a mess.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Joss is a piece of shit. But so anyways, thank you guys for doing this with me. Well, definitely if you forgot everyone listening, stay tuned for our hopefully second and final part. But who knows? At the rate we went today, this might end up being 3 or 4 parts. We'll see. Yeah, so thank you guys here. If you guys each want to go around and tell everyone where they can find you online.
Well, you can find me on Tumblr, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, basically a whole bunch of fronts on the internet. I guess on my Instagram you can just find me at AlSpeed, on my Tumblr, Speed of the Oppressed, on Twitter, just I guess Alex Speed, YouTube, AlSpeed. Yeah, you can just find me anywhere. Just look up the word Speed.
Hi guys, I'm Jean. You can find me at Badjectivity on Tumblr.
I'm Danielle, and I'm a Social Justice League on Tumblr.
I'm Rebecca, and I'm Endeavor Network on Tumblr.
You guys can find me at Twitter. Just look up my name, Nick Crocker, or at my @TremanoSteel_. Check us out on our podcast Twitter, DC Films Podcast on Twitter. And then there's also Amber was here today, so you can find her at Bywitch the West on Tumblr, or Amber of Themyscira on Twitter. We're all fairly active there. Thank you guys here for being with me. It was a ton of fun. And thank you guys for listening. If you guys like this podcast, please share it. Give it a thumbs up. What do you guys think of it? Send your thoughts on this whole Wonder Woman script in the comment section below. And stay tuned for next week. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, have a good one.